All right, we are officially live. Let me say hello to Cedric. I know he likes to compliment my hair, so I appreciate that. Last night my hair was looking wild, so for him to give me a compliment last night, my hair was looking crazy. So let me say hello. Mm, okay. All righty. Okay, Dr. L, were you able to share the link with your subscribers?
Yes, ma'am. We should. I'm looking at my channel. We're live there as well, so we're good.
Okay. All right. Oh, hey. Oh, let me say hello, Mimi. Okay. All right. Well, y'all, I'm gonna just open up the live with, last night we had a live with myself. First of all, can y'all hear me okay? Do I sound okay? Mimi, do I sound okay? You can give a thumbs up. Hopefully I sound okay. You guys can hear me clearly. But last night we had a live, and Dr. L, you and I, we chatted about it, and I wanted to come back on here and kind of talk about the live last night. If anybody, hey, in NYC Chocolate, thank you for joining. If anybody was able to catch the live last night, and my girlfriends watched the live last night, and well, two of them gave me feedback, but one in particular said, I noticed you had checked out of the conversation. And if you watched it live last night, I had checked out of the conversation early. You probably saw a glazed look over my face. I just wasn't feeling the direction of the conversation that we were having, because I don't do divisive content. I don't like to put men against women. That's, you can go through my channel. I don't do that. I'm a mother who has raised 3 adult children, and they happen to be boys, sons. I have 3 sons, 2 grandsons, and the way the conversation was going last night, y'all, I'll be honest, like I wasn't feeling it. And so, mind you, if you saw me check out, I did check out. I told my girlfriend, I ain't gonna lie, I did check out. Right. And so I talked to Dr. L and I said, you know what? I want to, have a positive conversation, because if you go through my content, Dr. L and I have lots of conversations together outside of YouTube. Right. And I'm more of a, love does exist. We could all be doing better. I'm not perfect. Dr. L isn't perfect. Nobody's perfect in love. We all are out here trying to figure love out. Right. And so I wanted to have a positive conversation to where, how can we find, for those who are trying to attract love, maybe everybody isn't trying to attract love. Like we heard from a couple of men, with the man who joined the live last night, everybody isn't trying to find love. And you know what? That's okay. But if you are trying to attract love, then let's talk about it. Like, let's talk about what men and women can be doing. I want to talk about your experiences, Dr. L, out here dating. We have a guest that's going to come on here who I have coached and coached and coached and coached, who just got married, right? And and of course we know each other. We've known each other for many, many, many years. But I want, to dispel the fact that people are finding love and people are getting married, right? So anyway, Dr. L, I'm gonna pause there and see if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah. So the conversation we had post interview was good. I appreciated it. I got a number of emails, a number of comments, on the video, and I want everyone to know that that's not really who and what I am. I'm not going to speak on what other people think or believe or whatever, but that everyone has the right to their opinion and all that. I just wanted to be respectful, and I wasn't able to moderate the chat as well as I would have liked to. But that's why we have some moderators with wrenches and all that. So but I want to apologize. I guess there was some name calling going on in the chat, and I guess Anita had to ask somebody to be booted. I didn't see any of those comments, so I want to apologize for any of that kind of behavior on my platform. And again, I don't really like that at all. And I agree with a lot of what V and I talked about off screen, is that we both want to heal the community. And a lot of people who are not about that. There's a red pill segment or manosphere segment that's about, forget women, do what you got to do. My message is to the men to level up to be the best version of yourself. And if you want to get married, okay, here's how to do it. Or if you want a long-term relationship, here's what you should be doing and looking for. And here are the mistakes that I made. So I hope that other people don't make those mistakes. At no place and no time in any way, in any shape, form, or fashion, do I believe in degrading women or degrading anyone. So I just want people to know that. So I want to have respectful conversations. It's my job as an academic to have people on that I agree with and people who I don't agree with, but I still want it to be a respectful conversation. I believe in talking to a lot of different people and all that. So I wanted to say that. And thanks for having me on. So
Oh, I was on mute because look, the ice cream. The ice cream truck still come through. Like he was just he just came through. And sorry, I don't know if y'all heard the noise. I want to say thank you for those who are joining. I see you, Coach Marshawn. Thank you, girl, for joining. Glorious love. I appreciate it. And I saw your comments last night, girl, and I was riding with you. So I do appreciate those who did not participate in the divisiveness. Y'all, I don't participate in it. Go back and watch it. Y'all saw my eyes glaze when I shut my mouth. Y'all have checked out. I saw Dr. L's mouth moving. I saw the other two ladies' mouths moving. Y'all, I didn't hear a word y'all said. I swear to y'all, I didn't. But anyways, okay. So Dr. L, I want to talk about your dating experiences and those who are out here dating, right? Trying to meet somebody. Let's just talk about like what's working. Like, like there's things that's working. It's not all trash. I completely do not believe that it's all trash. So, Dr. L, we know that you have told us many times that, well, many times now, but you're single, maybe dating, right? So I'm gonna ask you, when was the last great date that you had and what made it great?
am I single, V? Let's see. The
I know
last
we're not married yet, y'all. For those who don't know, Doctor and I
um
will probably be married by the end of the year. I'm just letting y'all know.
um well, last great date that I had. That's a good. I didn't really think about that question. That's last great date that I had. Um, I think the great times are just great conversations. I don't have to. We don't have to go bungee jumping or scuba diving, or we can just go out and have a good time. We have great conversation. Just I think that those make it great. Um, so I can't pinpoint a specific person or time or date. But I just know that when I say that I want to see someone again, or that makes it great to me, or at least good. But there's nothing sparks or anything that I can think of right now. It's just what I'm looking for is a good connection. At 52, I'm looking for good connections. So yeah, yeah.
Okay. I would say that I think women are looking for the same, like, regardless, man versus woman, it doesn't matter. Like, I think we're all genuinely out here looking for a good partner, somebody who we can align with. I know we had the conversation last night, like, the whole thing about video games and all that. Look, it's some women out here that love men who play video games. And I noticed you was quiet last night about the video games, but I know you
I
play
play
video games.
video games. Listen, I,
You
I
ain't say
play them.
nothing last night. y'all,
I want to use
he
that
was
excuse.
quiet as hell. You didn't say, "Well, I got a doctor's degree and I play video games."
I
I was like,
absolutely do. I absolutely do. And I tell people all the time, me pursuing my doctorate degree was getting in the way of my video games. I say it all the time.
and you know what, boo? It's okay. Like, I have three sons. My oldest son, is works in the financial industry. He likes to play video games. It doesn't make him, lazy or anything like that. Like, there's a time and a place, for you to handle your business. Now, if you are using that as a hobby to not handle your business, that's fine. But you know what? I'm not gonna poop on anybody who has to clear their mind when they get off work. one thing my daddy told me, he told me when I first got married, my dad said very clearly, now mind you, I'm a daddy's girl, and my dad pulled me to the side and he said, when your husband gets home from work, you allow him to decompress. Do not just be all in his face, want to tell him everything about your day, right? Give that man some space, allow him to come in the house, do what he got to do, take his clothes off, and just breathe before you hit him with everything that, went wrong with your day. What do you think about that advice?
I think that's great advice. Chris Rock said the same thing. Chris Rock, to me, is one of the greatest modern day sages and prophets. The things he says in his comedy specials are absolutely fantastic. And he said in one, I think it was like Bigger and Blacker, one of those two, that he said, yeah, exactly that. Let me get my second foot in the house before you just start bombarding me with all this stuff. So, and I remember seeing that when I was in my 20s, like, yeah, okay. I think I was with somebody at the time. You listening, you gotta watch this because I can't take that. I can't take that when I walk through the house. And there was as a police officer, right, we had these different trainings and stuff. So we had our own police academy in the city that I used to teach at the academy. And there was a guy he was the head over the academy, and we would have a family night. And so at family night, he would tell the families what to expect from a police officer because their days are long, harsh. They see things that the normal citizen doesn't see. So if your husband, usually husbands, right?
Hmm.
But even wives, I guess now too, comes home, or your son or daughter, whatever, comes home and they don't want to talk and they're quiet. You don't know what they saw during the day, and they're not going to tell you. So that is sage advice just for the police officers,
Hmm.
but for men, go through the same thing, right? You don't know what your man sees, and all that kind of stuff, or what he's dealt with, what the hostilities or whatever he's seen. So I definitely think that men need a time and a way and an avenue to
Hmm.
decompress. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm a mom, right? And my sons, I forget that they're grown and they're adults. And my son is my oldest son. He has a house somewhere else in another city, but he is staying here because he, got a job here in the area. And then when he came home, I was like, brr, brr, and he was like, Ma, stop. And he said, you ain't even took a breath yet. And I was like, you know what? You right. Let me just go on upstairs, and when you done finish decompressing from your work day, then I'll come back down here, and I forget that, my son is a grown man and not a child, and, I don't have the right anymore to be all up in his ear. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, I've had great dates in the past as well. So Dr. L, V's, when's the last time you had a great date? Well, I'm glad you asked, and
Maybe I don't want to know about that. You ever think about
Don't be starting that. Don't be showing these audience now. Well,
I
you
know, because
gonna
you slick
hear
with the mouth. You get it. Yeah. Let me keep my mouth shut here. Let me shut up. Go ahead.
you see that, ladies. He don't want to hear about my date, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. Well, you know what? It's not even just a date. Let me just say that I think. Well, I'm gonna just say what makes a great date. How about that? So we don't get a Dr. L. Jealous, right? What makes a great date for me, right, is somebody who one plans a date. I like it when a man plans a date, and shows up on time and is engaged in the date, and ask me questions. Right. And I tell women all the time, do not monopolize the entire conversation. Nobody cares about when you played hopscotch in second grade, right? Keep some mystery to yourself, but it's, being engaged in the conversation. Ask me a couple of questions, right? Not typical questions, not what do you do for fun and what's your favorite color? Nobody give a damn about my favorite color. I don't even, who has a favorite color at 50 years old? I don't have a favorite color, but ask me actual engaged questions. I think that's what makes a great date today. That's my opinion.
Mm. I will agree with that. I mean, you got to get. I mean, particularly now, right? You got to get to know someone, right? Let's dig through this, right? Yeah, his favorite colors and all that kind of stuff, right? Which side of the bed you like to sleep on?
Now, what Miles talking about? Too late. We already know, y'all. Okay. The cat's out the back. No, I'm playing. No, no, it's not. No, it's not, y'all. We be playing on here. Let me just say we be playing.
These is
But
jokes, y'all. These is jokes, y'all.
these are just jokes, okay? But he don't know it yet. He'll be married by December 31st. Okay, to me, to me. Okay, I'm just saying. All right, so I wanted to bring somebody on, who just got married. Right. I want to bring her on and I want her to talk about her dating experience because I know one thing that's for sure. The older we get, y'all, especially as women, the older we get, I feel like it does get a little bit harder. And for men as well, because we come with baggage, right? None of us probably watching her in our 20s or teens. A lot of time, I think my typical audience is about 50 plus. Right. And so when you're starting to date out here in your 50s or 40s, it's a different ball game to when you were 20s. Right. And so we got a different set of challenges. And then especially if you have been on your own for a while. So we know, and I love to talk about the masculine and the feminine imbalance, because that plays a huge part in how healthy our relationships are going to be. If women are leading too far into their masculinity, the energy, the balance is off. And same if the man is leading too far into his femininity. So I'm going to bring somebody on. Now, her name is Ebony, and she just got married. And I want to talk about her dating experience, and I think y'all will be hopeful by her experience. So hopefully we can hear you okay. So Ebony, can you hear us okay?
I can. Hello. Hello, V. Hello,
Hello, hello.
Gabriel.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, girl, Dr. L. I was married to a doctor girl. Okay, so Ebony, we know that you got married when?
April the 0405, 2025.
Okay. So you just recently got married. Now,
Congratulations.
before
Thank
yes.
you.
Yes. Now, before you got married, tell everybody because I want people to hear this because I know it was a lot of conversation last night putting women down. Before you got married, how many children did you have and as a single mother?
I have 4 children
Okay.
as a
And
single mother. Hmm.
and how old were your youngest children?
I have a set of twins, identical twin girls. They're 10. I have 2 grown sons that are 26, 27.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So, yep.
Okay, but when you first started dating, those twins were how old?
They had not when I met my husband, they had not quite hit uh 2 years yet.
Okay, so
Yep. So they were about a year and a half, maybe. They were still in diapers, put it that way. They were still in diapers.
okay, does your
Yep.
husband have any children of his own?
Yeah, my twins and grown sons, but yeah, no, not of his own, no. But
Okay.
but they
Mhm.
they you know they know who their father is as far as their biological father, but they also all of their memory they have of him being there. So that
Okay.
is to them, that is their father.
Okay. So, how did you meet your current husband?
I actually in the industry that I work, I met him. Uh, we worked. I kind of want to say work together. Yeah, yeah, we worked together technically. Yeah.
What does technically mean?
Yeah. There's a big bush and it's being beaten around here.
So, so okay. So I will say this. He is an engineer. He is chief engineer. That is his field. And he was a contracted engineer for one of the hotels and I am a GM of a major, I'm not going to say where, but a major hotel chain that everybody stays at. Um, and he was, during the time that I met him, we contracted his company to do engineering for our hotel. So he was over the engineering department that handled everything for my hotel. So,
Okay.
so technically, he reported to me because I was the GM, but at the same time, he was not employed by my company, if that makes sense. You know, you
Okay,
hire
so
someone to do a job as a contractor. So that's how I met him.
okay, so pretty much he fell under your chain of command, just not directly. Did
Exactly.
he? Now I know Dr. L, you and I talked one episode we had, did he like make less money than you?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so let me just summarize this situation here because people think that love doesn't exist. She had 4 kids, two under two, identical twin girls. She meets a man who makes less money than her, falls under her chain of command, has no kids of his own. Okay. She is the lead of a major hotel brand. Okay. So we summarize that up. Okay. So, Doctor, you got something to say, Dr. L?
No, I want to hear what you have to say. Go ahead.
Oh no, if you
I
got
love
something to
y'all
say.
chemistry, by the way. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Oh, why? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yoli said, "Are we entitled to? Was it chatters? Chatters. The
See,
chat
that's
discount."
exactly why I didn't say what brand, because if I said what brand, your YouTube would blow up for real. It's already blown up, but yeah.
Okay.
I got you, Yoli.
So how long between you meeting him and did you get married? How long? And how old are your twins now?
Oh, yeah, so we dated. I will tell you, we dated for a very long time.
Okay.
Okay, so that's when I met him because when I first met him, it wasn't like a date. Like we became friends over time. It was a work relationship. It was somebody. So I never in a million years would I have imagined that was going to be somebody that I was going to end up marrying. But yes.
So you dated for 8 years, roughly 8 years or so? Because you said we're in
Yeah.
they were in diapers, so
Probably
one
a
and a
little
half.
less than that, only because during the beginning it was kind of like more of a work relationship. But yeah, close to 8 years. Yeah.
Okay, so you me too this brother? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're telling me?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
No.
Um,
No.
He was absolutely the pursuer. I will tell you that.
Okay.
He was absolutely, and he'll tell you, he'll be like, "You didn't like me when you first met me." I was like, "No, I didn't."
And is he older than you? How old is he?
Actually, no, he's not. He
Okay.
is, and we have this conversation all the time. He'd be like, "I'm younger." I'm like, "Whatever." He's 2 years younger than me.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Great,
So
Robert. Go ahead. Go ahead, V.
no, she's not a cradle. Okay. So
Right?
then
2 years. Too.
2 years, boo. 2 years.
I got you.
But okay, so you meet this man, y'all start dating. Eventually, you start dating. Now, when you got into this relationship, would you say at all that it was challenging at all? Let's say with the masculinity or the communication, anything like that, because you had been single for a little bit, maybe not too long, but you had been single and you raising. We know how hard it is to raise children, and you are raising 4. Right. So did you have any challenges when y'all, started dating early on?
Absolutely. I will say, yeah. I mean, I had recently become single because I was no longer dating the twins' father. Right. I moved away, moved out of state to kind of get away from that situation. So, yeah, I mean, it was definitely some challenges because even prior to the twins, even with the boys, which are men now, they had just went off into the military. One went into the Air Force, went into the Marines. Like I always held that masculine role, and it would be so funny because my son would send me letters from basic training, and he was like, "Ma, I don't know how these guys can't get through basic training. They're like having such a hard time." And I guess it's because you were so strict with us. I already felt like I was in basic training before I went into the Air Force. So that was just because, I guess, number one, how I was raised. I was raised in a household. I have always had both my parents. Both my parents are still together now. My dad was military. and I kind of took a lot of that. Like I kind of took a lot of the structure that I got from being raised in, you know, a military household and traveling all over the world, and really kind of instilled that. So I just always kind of took that, had that masculine role. I will say this: I did get married prior to, so this is my second marriage. I was married at the age of 21, but probably actually 20. I'll say this: that was to me, that was not a, I was so young. You know, we don't know anything when we're like 20, 21. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't last more than maybe like 3 years or so. So to me, this is like really my first, what I can say as an adult marriage. And throughout all that time, from raising my sons as a single mom all the way up till now, I've always had to I carried the household. I've worked 2 jobs. I've went to school and worked 2 jobs at the same time, and still dealt with putting my sons in extracurricular activities and raising my sons. But yeah, there were definitely several challenges, I would say, you know, trying to be able to kind of step back. And not only that, because of the type of field I was in, you know. So I'm a boss. I'm a boss, a leader in a leadership role at work. So that, and then coming home. And so you have to really kind of be like, okay, let me step back. And I had to find my feminine energy. And that's where you came in and you helped me with that. So thank you.
Yes, I did. So, yes, I just want to say, yes, I did. I'll tell you, because it is not easy when you are raising sons. You know, Ebony had first 2 sons, and you know, I had 3 sons. I have 3 sons. There's no way in the world that you're not gonna, you know, raise young men and not be masculine. It's impossible. I mean, you're gonna you can't let your boys rule the house, and so you're gonna have to rule the house. Now, we're not saying we raise young men to be men, but and I'm not saying that, but you do have to raise young men to be responsible. If there is no, you know, father figure in the house. I mean, I spent 12 years of that being married. You know, so I had that for a little bit, and kind of not, but you know, anyways. Okay. And so Glorious Love is asking, is there a reason why you waited to get married? I guess, you know, from that time period.
Yeah, I will tell you, that's where you play the role at. Be mindful. um, I think communication was a big thing for us. We really had to work on our communication. Um, there were so many times where you talked me off of a ledge, because I've been engaged before, even after my very first marriage. I was engaged before, and I was like, oh no, I was so quick. I was that type of person. Like, I hate heartbreak. I hate being disappointed. Um, I'm quick to say, you know what? No, this person is, you know, I can check out. And I had to learn how to really look at my situation. Number one, I fell in love with somebody that, you know, was different from other people that I've dated before. So, you know, a lot of times we have this mindset that we want this particular, like, this is what we want. And sometimes this is what's better for me. And yeah, so I kind of had to take my time, and me and him had to work on our communication before we got to that point of saying, you know, I do, or I'm ready to say I do. We talked about it. We absolutely talked about it. I would say right around 3 to 4 years in, I want to say he went to my dad, and he told my dad, I want to marry your daughter. My parents loved him. My dad absolutely loved him. And we didn't get married right then. It just took time. And that's when I would come to you, and we had our sessions, and, you know, there were times like, well, I can't stand when he does this, and da 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 da. And, you know, we would just kind of talk those things out. And I had to learn how to listen and really communicate. And he worked on communication, you know, with me as well.
Yeah, no. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, boo. Go ahead, hubby.
I just want to know, I just want to know what you meant by talking you off the ledge. Uh, what I mean, were you? I mean, does that mean that you were thinking
Giving
about
up,
a relationship or what?
giving up, ready to like be like, yeah, that no, this is not for me. Let me see what else is out there.
And
You
that
know,
was because of the communication issues, or there were other
yeah,
issues?
I would say it was because of the communication issues.
And what was
Stuff I had to work on within myself as well.
because you were not opening up, or because of the what I call the boss chicory in you was very strong? Is that
Not maybe sometimes, but I think and he would tell me, look, you might be the boss at work, but you're not the boss. I'd be like, oh, okay, type thing. Um, but I will say that, and then also, in ways with him learning how to communicate with me also. Like there were sometimes he would get so frustrated and just, like kind of storm off and like want to leave out the house or out of our space, or our communication would just shut down and we wouldn't be hearing each other. We had to learn how to communicate to where we actually she was like, and V would be like, if y'all are just going like this, you're not hearing each other. And we had to really learn how to be able to take time to step back and say, let me, even if I don't agree, let me hear what he's saying. Let me tell him he needs to hear what I'm saying. So
Mm-hmm. Well, communication is the number one reason why relationships fail. It's very common and it's not people think it's cheating, people think it's finances, it's the communication around it. But not only that, it's the emotional maturity, right? That women a lot of times and it's very common when you meet somebody and they're just not emotionally mature. You're not sure what's going on in the relationship. Something's off. You're not being heard, you're not being validated, and eventually you just stop bringing stuff up because people don't want to hear the feedback, right? And it's all feedback. It's about how we bring it up, how we communicate it to each other. But I wasn't born just to, love you. You weren't born just to love me. We have to learn each other. And so with Ebony, they had to learn how to communicate enough, so where they can each be heard. I'm not attacking you. Okay, I'm just saying XYZ. When you did XYZ, it made me feel like ABC, right? Communicating in such a way that we're able to move through the conflict, right? And that's important. A lot of people's relationships die in that conflict stage. They just never heard. Right. And so that's the number one thing that people need to work on in their relationship is learning how to communicate and how to listen to your partner. Right. And so Ebony has been able to, get through that. Right. And both of them are much better communicators. Right. And so now they're communicating to be heard. So I saw you writing something, Dr. L. What you writing? You got another question?
I got 4 or 5 of them, but I want to come at this from a man's point of view. But
Go
before I
ahead.
get into those other questions, I wanted to know, and I obviously to the ladies out there who want to use these services, go to her. I don't want her to give away all of her secrets right now, but let's talk about just one of the things that V helped you to really overcome to help you to become a more feminine woman. What would be one of the things that
Mhm.
she helped you to realize about yourself to say, oh man, I need to stop doing that? I mean, we talk about communication. Is there anything else about that you could say that here's what I'm doing? I see I'm doing it. My coach is helping me to see that. How do I overcome that?
a lot of times I would try to make my point known, like even sometimes kind of talking over him or like shutting down and not really hearing him in what he had to say when we would, get in. And one thing about it, I will say from the time that V was, really coaching my relationship coach, we really don't get in that many arguments. That like now, I'm probably saying probably like the last 3 years, and people do get in arguments, and there's nothing wrong with that. Let me just say that. But because of the fact that we've worked on our communication, but I would say she really helped me kind of zone in on changing myself, because you can't change other people, right? You can only change yourself. And she used to tell me, she would say, look, you can't control what he does. You can't, but work on you. And that's what I took it from that approach. I was like, and I think from me working on me and him seeing a difference in me, it was kind of like, wait a minute, she's not jumping down my throat. She's not cutting me off. She's letting me speak. She's actually taking time to listen to what I'm saying. And then that made him kind of see some of the aspects of the things that I did have issues with and I did talk to him about. Mm-hmm. And I will say this also, because I know one of your viewers asked about what took us so long. There was also a break, like during COVID, like right before COVID, I moved out of state. So we had a long distance relationship for about 3 years before I moved back into the area where he was. So I think that also played a part in us taking a long time to finally say, okay, let's do it.
Okay. All right.
You said you had 4 or 5 questions. That was just one.
Oh. I'm paying attention to this chat here that you got all stoked up here. Thank you so much, Eric Dedman. I appreciate that.
Nice. Okay, Eric.
So again, I come from this from the male perspective, and and somebody put this in the chat. High Vibe said this. How did he handle the stigma about marrying a woman with kids? How did he? And if I say anything that's insensitive, it's probably just blame it on my head and not my heart. I because I want to help men.
But I want people to understand that, because that's life, right? That is right. a subject and it can be a challenge for a lot of people.
Right.
I think, and when I tell you I gave him so many outs, I was like, look, I'm not having any more kids. I don't want any more kids. Like, this is it. And he just always like, well, I love you and your kids are my kids. Like I gave him outs because I didn't want to stifle him from, being able to have his own. And I think, and I will say, because of the fact that they were so young when we got together, that also, like, they really have a bond of, father-daughter bond with the twins and the boys. He has a great relationship with the boys too. So,
did he take any teasing, like I'm getting in the chat here? Did he take any teasing from from any of his friends or anyone try to discourage him and all that?
He probably would have to answer that. But I recall one time we had went to one of his friends' house. They had a cookout, and it was me, him, and the twins. Because mind you, the boys are grown, so they live somewhere else. They're doing their own thing. But it was me, him, and the twins. And at the time, I want to say the girls were maybe 6 years old, maybe, and 6 or 7, maybe 6. And we were at the cookout, and they heard the girls call him Dad. And they said, and when we got home, he was like, yeah, my boy, he was like, he heard Bella and Bree call me Dad. And he asked me, he was like, man, are they're not yours, are they? And he was like, yeah, they're mine. He was like, they're mine. So I don't know if there was anything else that was said during that conversation, but he actually was, he liked the fact that they, got to a point where they actually looked at him as their father figure and called him Dad.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't want to have kids, or he's just good with it, or he just wants you so much that he.
I think when people ask him that, like, so you don't want to have kids, his response has always been, I do have kids. I have, so those are his kids.
Okay. All right.
What do you mean in 5 minutes we broke up? We did not break up. Okay. You okay? But I think the story that I really want folks to understand, like the whole thing last night, like love that people aren't checking for women. People they now find the love, they not dating, and they not getting married anymore. I'm like, y'all, we got to stop the BS because that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. Here we got somebody, and I will tell you, Ebony, you can't really see Ebony, as well as if you saw her in person. Ebony is one beautiful woman. I'll tell you that, in her
Thank you.
spirit. You're very welcome. Her spirit and her energy is very beautiful, and you can attract anybody you want. I firmly, firmly believe that it's coming from a place of you, and that's what I work with women and men to fully understand that, right? So I don't want to hear about, don't nobody want no old lady, okay? Because Ebony ain't 20, I'm not 20, right? Nobody wants a woman with kids. That's not true, right? And nobody wants a man who makes less money. That's not true, right? So I'm like, come on now, y'all. We are doing ourselves a huge injustice by believing the rhetoric that's out here because it's not true. And that's why I wanted Ebony to come on here to show y'all, like, I'm telling you now, it ain't true. It's a lot of men out here who are looking for love. It's a lot of women out here looking for love, period. And we can align. So, did you want to say anything else, Ebony or Dr. L, on as far as what I just said, addressing what I just said?
I did have a question about that. I would be remiss if I didn't ask about that. Have you
Oh, go
thought
ahead, bud.
about exactly about what V just said, these different stereotypical tropes that are out there, particularly, I don't know if you pay attention to this, the manosphere, red pill movement, or talking points. I don't know if you're familiar with any of that, but in that sector, they are advising a lot of men not to do exactly what you've done, or not what your husband has done. Marry a woman with kids, woman who doesn't want to have kids, marry someone who is makes more than them, younger than he's younger than you. All these different things you have certainly defied. And how would you respond to any of that? And do you think your husband has ever wrestled with any of that, or anything?
Um, I think it depends on the person. And I think you just have to be open, and not to say that he could have fell in love with someone that was ready to have more kids. But I think because we complete each other, and we have that chemistry and that love for each other, we were able to he was able to look past that. I mean, it's no different than, say, a man and a woman get together and their plans are to have children, and unfortunately something is biologically an issue that they can't have children together. Does that mean that they're supposed to, what I'm saying, split up and not? Or if you fall in love with somebody that doesn't have the capability or ability to have children, what do?
Mm-hmm.
If you love that person,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to kind of get past that. And so
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think, I don't think that when we first got together, it was like, okay, she's not going to have any more kids. I think we really focused on how we were together and the chemistry that we had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See?
So you got to tell us what were the moves that this brother put on you, because you weren't feeling him at first. What were the moves that he put on you to turn you around? How did he do it?
He was very thoughtful. He was very accommodating. And he would listen. Like he really he'll just certain things like out the blue that he'll do. I remember one day I was talking about, losing weight and getting fit and all into like the healthy thing or whatever. And he just showed up and he was like, "Here, I got this for you." And it was a Fitbit. Back then when people used to wear the Fitbits or like one of those watches. And I was like, "Oh," he was like, "Tell you what, you can link, here's mine. You can link it up with me and we can, walk together." So I would put the Fitbit on and we would have challenges about like who was going to get in the most steps. And I remember a few times I was laying in the bed and I was just shaking my arm like this. He doesn't know this.
I'm gonna tell.
I was
Put him on camera.
I was like, I'm not. He spent all this time giving me this, watch. Let me go ahead and get all my steps in. So yeah. I mean, I think he listened. That was one of the things. A lot of times, as women, we want someone to listen. Like, we don't want to kind of tell you exactly what it is we need all the time. Sometimes just listen, and it can be just the little small things. Though it honestly was really the small things that really worked for me. Because like I said, at first I was not, it was, I was like, oh no, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what? And let me just add Dr. L real quick, because I think I've said it in one of my videos, and I can't remember which video, that I had revealed, a piece of my story when I was young, and this was in my 20s. I had my two oldest sons early, and then was in a relationship early, and when they were 6 and 3, he was murdered, and left me with two children who were 6 and 3 years old. They never found out who murdered him. He was, just outside his store that he owned, and somebody came and shot him in the head and the chest, and left me by myself with two kids. I did get married. I got married, married a scientist, who's my frat brother. I graduated college when I was 22, and I got married, I think, when I was 28. I just met him. He just loved the boys, and just wanted to help me raise them. He had ended up adopting them, gave them his last name, and that's so. Even though my ex-husband, we don't talk that much anymore, because the kids are grown, and my youngest son just turned 18, and we were married 12 years. We used to get along really well. You can watch some other videos. We even through the divorce, right? We got along really, really well, hanging out, traveling, and then he got married to somebody else, and that just went to crap. The insecurity and stuff. You can't have a pretty ex-wife. That just doesn't go well. But anyways, so I too had kids, and I too got married. And somebody did marry me with two little kids. So it is highly possible. Now, that was many years ago, and my kids are all grown now, so that's not a factor anymore. So, Dr. L, you don't got to be nobody daddy. Okay, they grown now. They grown men, But back then, that was my story, and that's why I'm like, I believe love is out there, and I believe people don't care as much about circumstances as they make it seem. That whole red pill community, I just think it's a bunch of BS, because if you are a good woman, and if you are showing up to be a good woman, and you're not even in good woman, I don't mean cooking and cleaning and washing his drawers. I mean, a woman that has positive energy, and just is just a loving person, a nurturing person. A lot of men ain't passing that up. Okay, they just not, because you're not going to find good people on every corner. You're just not. So I do look. Somebody, you would say you want me to wash your drawers? What'd you say?
I can't get that.
Long as it ain't stained. Okay, somebody is asking a good Shallow McBad. He is asking a good question. I would like to know if her circumstances were different, such as she was childless, and in her younger years, would you have still picked your husband?
I was gonna get to this. Just I just want to point out, I was coming around to this question, but go ahead.
Okay. I would say that it would definitely have been a conversation. Like I said, I gave him out. We had those conversations. If it was the person that I am with now, absolutely. Absolutely. If the tables were turned, absolutely. Because he honestly is my person. It just fits. It fits. But I think, like I said, everyone is different. I don't want anyone to some people want to have kids. Some people don't want to have kids. So you have certain things that you know are deal breakers for you, and that was not a deal breaker for him. And if the tables were turned, it wouldn't have been a deal breaker for me. I have 4 kids, but that was not anything. I didn't set out in life and said, oh, I want to have 4 kids. I did have 4 kids, and that's what happened, and that's what God blessed me with, and here I am. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to probe this for a little bit here. We're not talking about the tables were turned. If you were in your 20s,
okay,
think back 2-3 years, whatever it was, wherever you're in your 20s.
about 3 years ago. Okay.
Okay, right. You're so 3 years ago, you're in your 20s, you're childless.
No.
Would this man be the type of man that you would have gone for, attracted, and still would have married 3 years ago, and you're childless and you're getting hit on left and right? That's
okay.
the heart of the
So I
question.
will say this. I think I mentioned before, like he was not the typical person that in my 20s, many years ago, right? 3 years, but yes, 20 years ago when I was in my 20s, no, I was not dating that type of, the qualities that he has. I probably should have been, but that's not what I didn't know what I know today. Like I was the bad boy kind, the one that like I dated 2 NFL players. Not that but that, just because the area that I grew up in, and they were from the area that I lived in. And that was just, I dated the bad, quote unquote, bad boy type. You know what I'm saying? So no, that was in my younger years, after my first divorce. So no, I can't say that he probably should have been in my 20s, the type of man that I should have went for, but no, I was young, I was dumb, and full of whatever it is, the other part. So if that answers your
Nasty.
question.
That answers the question. That answers the question. Thank you.
We have a question from Mackie Samuel. Do you believe that people overlook and underestimate the importance of social class compatibility in dating and marriage?
That's a good question.
I don't know, Dr. Hill, you
I think that it's important to women. I don't know. I think it's important to women because I think that generally they don't want to date beneath their class. Obviously, we're talking to an exception here, although it's probably not much of a difference in class.
Yeah, I was about to say it wasn't much of a difference, but yeah.
Right. But I think that women are more selective for that. You take, I think there's a lot of talk about guys in the higher classes will date the barista. I don't think they're going to marry them. I mean, not in wholesale mass numbers, but I think that sometimes class does matter. And so I think, but I just think that matters a lot more to women because they either want to go up in class or they want to marry that class. Now, either we get together now and we build towards something, or they're looking to marry up in class. So that's what I think it matters more to ladies.
And I think that's important too. I think building up, being able to come together, because my husband Neil, no, he wasn't where I was at, but we're both here now. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of things, like we kind of fed off of each other in a lot of ways. Like he learned different things from me, and he tells me all the time, like it was so many things that I learned from you in his field. Like he went on to excel, in his field, and was able to go from here to here. So I think a lot of times it's, don't count it out because somebody is at that moment is making less than you, but learn how to kind of help each other get to that next level, build with each other and be open to that, because you may miss out on a great opportunity because somebody was not in the right tax bracket as you.
This is gonna be another tough question. What are the genders of your 2 older children?
They were boys. Well,
boys?
men.
They're men. And
Yeah.
they are how old? How old?
They are 27 and 28.
Okay, 27 and 28. Would you advise them? Would you advise them to marry a woman at their ages, not right now, a woman with children?
If she made them happy, absolutely.
You would advise them to do it.
If that person made them happy, I would absolutely. I would not. I would tell them not to walk away from someone that makes them happy, just because the fact that one of my sons is dating someone right now, and she has a child, but he also has a child as well. That's a whole.
If both of your children, if both of your children were child free, they didn't have any children, you would still advise them to do that.
What do you mean advise? Like encourage them to? Or what if they meet a woman and she has children?
Yeah, encourage. Say this is a good idea. Go for it.
I feel like if that was something that they wanted to do, I put it this way: I would not discourage it. I would not discourage it. Encourage kind of makes me think that it's like, hey, you should go find someone that already has kids. My whole thing is if that's somebody that they met and they felt, and he was like, Mom, I just want you to know, like, this woman blows me away. She has all the qualities. Absolutely, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, your partner who's going to be your partner for the rest of your life. That's important. It's important. You can go out and meet somebody and have kids with them, and it can be, a lot of turmoil in the relationship, or it could be somebody that, steps out. It's so many other things that can happen, whether or not that person has kids or not. So I absolutely wouldn't say let that be no. That does not. I feel like that should not be a deal breaker for people, but to each its own. That's
right.
Just what worked for me and my husband.
I asked that question because there have been not only have I seen videos on the internet, but I've known people in real life who themselves were single mothers, married someone, and told their children, "Don't do what your stepfather did."
Oh yeah, no.
Well, that's hypocritical.
I would never tell.
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that this is.
I hear
And
you.
the reason that they say that is because they understand the compromised position that the men are in, and they don't want their son to be in a compromised position. Compromised position meaning that the lady has an upper hand somehow, or that the lady. And these are stories I've heard. I mean, I could tell you stories about my own family saying this type of thing. So they understand that they understand that the type of man that is sought after, mistakes are made.
Hold on now. No, okay. So hold on. Let me just say, because I think it could go both ways. As myself raising three sons, hey, if that woman can cook and she's taking care of you and she's loving on you and she has your best interest at heart, I'm fine with it. I know my oldest son prefers to date women that are older, for that reason. They know how to make a house a home. I think that's very important. But I want to be, like I've had friends, good friends, good girlfriends, that have, dated men with children and crazy baby mamas. Right. And I had one, she was charged with attempted murder. And I had one that was charged with another girlfriend that was charged with first degree assault because of a crazy baby mama accusing them of doing stuff. I mean, one, she flattened the tires and stuff and all that. And because she had a knife, anyways, like it goes both ways. Trust me.
I agree. No, I agree. My point in asking the question is that this is out there, and you mentioned the crazy mama stuff that goes on. Would you want your son to be in that position? So my question is, these are things you have to fight against, and I'm not being encouraging or discouraging. I'm just saying, and listen, I did it. So I have two stepsons, so I'm not, this stuff is out there.
Yeah,
but
5.
Uh-huh. Yes,
Yeah, 5.
I have 5 stepsons, yes. I have
Yes.
5 stepsons. So I'm saying that this stuff is out there. So you have these are real conversations that men have to have, and they have to fight through all the noise
Mhm,
if they wanna get this to work. So
mhm.
I'm not encouraging you to
You
do
know,
it.
I
I'm
would,
not
but
discouraging you to do it. So I'm just
behind.
asking how you navigate that. How does a man
Mhm.
navigate that when he's got these pressures from social media, he's got these pressures from other people in his family, sometimes their own mothers would say it, don't do it. How do you navigate through that? That's the basis of
But
my
And,
question.
I'll tell you this: my mother-in-law, she absolutely adores that they call her grandma. She adores the twins, my sons, and one of the things she always said, what is the most important thing to her is she always says, even when we're on the phone and we're talking to her and we get off the phone, she'll be like, all right, love y'all be good to one another. And that's her thing. She always says, y'all be good to one another. And I think that's what was important, even, aside from him not having any on his own, was, is she good to you? If she's good to you and you're happy, then I'm happy for you.
Dr. L, I really think it depends. Like if my I would not encourage my sons to get involved in a woman with drama.
Mm,
Absolutely not. That's why when I talk to women and men, because like I said, I'm biased because I've raised 3 sons. I don't want them walking into any situation with a woman because she got some crazy dude. That's why I tell people, women too, you meet somebody, even when y'all dating, do not stay the night at this person's house. You don't know what kind of drama they got going on. If y'all want to do the deed, go somewhere else, but or
I
screw and go home, put your drawers back on and get home in a snowstorm. I don't care. But do
mm,
not stay the night at somebody's house. You don't know what they got going on, right? It could be somebody coming up and I've had that happen. Some woman came up in the middle of the night when I was dating my ex-husband, and my dumb ass is still married him, but she came up in the middle of the night, had a key, walked right on in, and we in the bed, chilling, laying down, reading nursery rhymes to each other, Dr. L. And
reading the word. Yeah, I know.
yeah, we're
That'll be
studying the
that'll be an
Bible.
offline conversation. Okay, go ahead.
But I'm just saying, like, you do not stay the night. And so I would not encourage my son. Hell no. If she got baby daddy drama, please leave her alone. And
mhm.
same for the man. Like the woman, if he got drama, the baby mama drama, I'm telling you right now, leave him alone.
Mm. And
Mhm.
to your point though, sometimes the people don't know that goes on, right? And so you asked about the good stories. I had a similar story where I was, visiting someone, we were eating dinner, and she's like, and then she tells me the next night that her ex was driving by the house wondering whose car this was. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought, what is this? So you're still got some kind of entanglement going on here. So it goes all kind of ways like that. I get
Mhm.
that. I get that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and Mimi said, like, yes, stop letting other people dictate your relationships, right? And this is the thing. So I'm doing a series right now on dating, right? If you are out here trying to date, I'm giving honest, like, things that absolutely work, right? And one thing that we have got to stop doing is getting opinions from other people. Okay, they're not in your situation. This is why my girlfriends would tell you, and they'll tell you, I do not share everything that goes on in my life. I do not. I think a lot of things I keep to myself. I keep my mouth shut. Why? It's not because I don't trust my girlfriends. It's because you got to watch the words that you keep professing out of your mouth. Right. If you keep professing and telling the same old tired ass story every day, somebody, this thing, they did this at work, this happened, and you just constantly keep retelling the same MFing story, you professing that over your life. Like, watch the words that come out of your mouth. That's why I don't tell everybody my damn business. And then all you're doing is, like, if Ebony's husband would have told a bunch of people, now I'm dating this woman, she got 4 kids, and oh my goodness, and he would have allowed his friends to tell him, why would you date somebody like that? It's other women out here, but Ebony makes him feel good. Ebony lights up his little boat. Okay, so why you keep on listening to everybody else? You're gonna love your way out of a good thing, right? So stop
Mhm.
paying attention to what everybody's saying. So, okay, Ebony. Well, I'm gonna let you go, Dr. L. Do you have any more questions for Ebony, Mr. Interrogator? So we could just continue our
Will said he
conversation.
was being too nice, so
I'm good. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing your
all
story.
right. Thank
Thank
you
you,
both.
Ebony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, boo. So we back, and hopefully, the real you will come out now.
That was the real me. That was the real me.
No,
I
I
was like,
know, I know. I just, honestly, the point in that was, and the point I wanted us, because the conversation we had last night, I didn't, I told you as soon as while we were even on live, I was texting you, and we were texting each other, and I was like, this is not a conversation I like to have. I don't like to participate in divisiveness. Ain't no man out here perfect. Ain't no woman out here perfect, y'all. We're all just trying to figure this out together. You find somebody who aligns with you. Stop allowing your girlfriends to say, oh, well, he ain't even finished college. You finished college. You got your, let me tell you, I know this black woman who's very, very, very successful. Okay, very successful. Guess what her man does? And the example came up last night. Guess what he does? He coaches AAU basketball. That is his job. Now she's highly
don't they make good
successful.
money? I thought they make good money.
I
AAU.
don't think they make as much money as we think they do. But
Okay.
now imagine if she allows people to tell her who she should. Oh, girl, you should be dating an attorney. You should be dating a surgeon, right? Stop allowing people who ain't got shit to do with your life to determine and tell you how you can find happiness. A lot of time people want you to be miserable with them. That's why y'all got to learn to shut the F up and stop telling everybody y'all business.
Is that the way? Is that the way to do it? I mean, how do you cut someone out? These are your girls. These are your boys, and I asked the question. I know we're gonna have a conversation after this. So, so I asked the question though of y'all don't know I'm in trouble after this. Y'all don't know that. But I asked the question. I mean, it goes both ways. How does he deal with his family, his structure, and how does she deal with that? How do you turn off, we call it the noise, from your family, from your friends? This person makes me happy. This person's an AAU coach, even though I'm a doctor, whatever's whatever, right? Would you suggest we cut off all that noise and just do what's best for us?
Stop sharing everything. I'm telling you, like Mimi's in the chat, and Mimi will tell you, I've known Mimi for almost 40 years. Mimi knows I don't share everything with her. And it's not because she always gives, open-minded advice. And she's always looking out for me. I've known her since I was a little girl with ponytails, literally, and I still don't share. It's not because I don't trust her. It's because you got to watch what you share, because the words that keep coming out of your mouth, sometimes people tell the same story over and over again. And the advice that your friends are going to give you are going to be from their purview, right? And they're not living your life. So why take their advice and their opinion? You're living your life, not them. So stop sharing every daggone thing about, because you and I, we together, okay, and we get into an argument, right, and then you do something that's offensive. If I go tell my girlfriends, even though you and I making up, we butt naked in the bed, the next night my girlfriend's still hating you. They probably building a voodoo doll of you, right, because they still gonna dislike you because of what you did. Now I shouldn't have probably told them that. They protective, they love me. Imagine if I tell my daddy, my daddy gonna hate you. Right, my son's gonna be ready to fight you. I got 3 of them. Okay, you gonna have to nuck and buck when you come up over here. I don't care if you are a retired police officer. They younger. My kids might jump you. You coming over here, right? And it's all because I couldn't keep my mouth shut.
I did tell you got 2 stepsons, right? I mean,
Okay, and I got 2 grown nephews and 2 grandsons that hit you on your knees. So I'm gonna tell you, it's all, and I think what was it, Miles said that. He's right. For a man to come over, I say it all the time, for a man to come up over here, you're gonna have to be able to stand strong in your masculinity. You coming towards a woman with 3 adult sons, and my sons love their mother. Okay, but they're not going to scare any man off, because they want a man to, they want their mother to be with a beautiful man that's going to take care of her, right? So they're not going to just, what you doing, my mama, but you better come correct. And that includes, I'm still daddy's little girl, even though I'm old.
so, and I agree with that. Particularly once you're in an established relationship. I don't disagree with anything you just said. my question would be for the beginning of a relationship where they're trying to talk you out of that, male, female, and they're trying to talk you out of that. How would you navigate that? Because people are able to see things that you're not able to see.
How would I navigate if my girlfriends?
We're trying to talk, girlfriends and family were saying, telling you, this dude, even though he's incredibly handsome with his Yankee hat and his beard, is not it for you.
Mm-hmm. Nice beard too.
if if he's, how would you navigate that? Is, how not just you, but how do you think women should navigate that? Because people do have some type of insight. Now, once you're in an
I agree.
established relationship, I agree with you. Don't talk about it. But in the beginning stages.
I you know, just like how I do with my staff at work. Don't come in our team meetings telling me XYZ is not going to work. Then I'm in technology, right? And we trying to figure out how to run this application from point A to Z so that our users can use it right. Don't come in here telling me like how it's not going to work. It's not going to work, blah blah blah. You better come in here with some good reasons, some feedback, some helpful feedback. Why do you feel the way you feel? Right? It's got to be something. You have to say something else. Not, girl, I don't like him. And then you find out why. Because he took 2 steps instead of 1. Because he ate 2 cookies. I saw him take a damn cookie. And you like, what? So it's got to be something, right? A substance, something that is real. And then I'm willing to hear it. But I think you gotta use discernment too. You know how your friends are. Like I said, I've had my friends for almost 40 years, and that's 3 girlfriends. Some of y'all girlfriends, we see it on the news. They going on vacations, and it's two or 4 or 5 of y'all coming back with 1 less. They not your friends, right? So it's like you got to use some discernment at who your real friends are. Do they want to see you win? Because some people just hanging on to you to see you lose.
Yeah, that's a deeper conversation to have right there about who's your real friend and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pay attention. Don't be sharing things with people that's not your real friends. So, I
That's
mean,
why I think
mhm.
they talk about the male loneliness epidemic. I just think that men are just more selective. I mean, there probably is something else to it, but after a while, right? It's like I don't have time for people who don't think like me, who aren't on their game. I've done a lot in my career, so I don't want hangers on or people still trying to establish themselves. That's why I can't,
Mhm.
I cut people like that off, right? Okay, a friend of mine, I haven't seen him in a long time, and I was like 47, 48 at the time, and he was older than me. He's like, oh, I'm about to go to barber school. Dude, you're 50. What have you been doing since you were 18? Right? You know what I'm saying? So what's going on with that? So yeah, so I think that a lot of times men are probably more selective when it comes to that. Because we don't need to have the circle, and I'm saying need in quotations marks, because we don't need to have that. We are probably just more able to
Mm,
filter who's good and who's bad and who's with us and all that type of thing.
okay,
You know,
I'm going to disagree right there
okay.
because one study that they have shown, and I think somebody was telling me about this, but then I looked it up to see, I wanted to look for the research. Men, they say married men live longer. And, and we know that it's because women are nurturers and the power of a woman, and that's what I teach and coach on. If a woman uses her power, she can give life, she can extend life too. So a married man lives longer. One part of that is not just because she's cooking and reminding you that you got to go to the VA, to the doctor appointment, not because of that, but because she comes with a social circle. And
I've read
men
that
are
research
feeling
too. Yeah, I read that
Okay,
research.
men are
Yeah.
feeling less lonely. And so it is imperative that we socialize. We're humans. We're social creatures.
Well, I didn't. I don't think I said that. I think I said smaller
Mm.
circle, right? Didn't I say? I didn't say no friends or
Okay.
nobody can talk
Okay.
to. I said smaller.
Smaller
So
circles,
you
as
might go
in,
on vacation with 1 or 2 dudes, where the girls are going on vacation with 8, 9, 10. That's what I'm
oh,
saying.
hell, not me. I'm going solo. I mean, with you. I'm going with you, and then if
You
you're
can't make
not
up your mind. You
available,
can't make up your mind. You can't make up your mind.
I'm going solo
You told me
because I
last
don't
night
like
I had
drama.
to sit in the back of back of the plane. That's what you told me last night.
Yeah, somebody got to hold them goats and chickens. Okay, I done told you last night. Somebody got to hold them goats and chicken. I ain't holding them. I'm gonna send you a postcard. You be like, "Oh, you're not going on? You going on vacation?" Yes, yes. You either coming or you're not. If you're not coming, I'll just send you a picture. But let's see. I'm gonna put up some. Yes, I thank you, thank you. Well, let's see. Yeah, what did somebody said? Please don't bring up last night's conversation to avoid. I agree. Last night was a hot mess, and that's why I wanted to come back on here. I just, I'm gonna just say, look, y'all, if y'all are out here looking, wanting to date, wanting to attract love, it's out here. Dr. L, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's out here. I mean, it's just difficult to find.
Why
But
do you think it's
it's
difficult to find? I don't think it's difficult to find.
I
How
think
is it difficult? You're looking right at her.
I am in so much trouble about this conversation. So I mean, I think that people have to get out of their own way. I was actually going to make
Hmm.
a video about this. I'm probably still going to do it, but people have to get out of their own way, and and you have to turn off social media. You have to become
Yeah.
open and available to it. And that was a question I wish I would have asked Ebony. Is how did you get out of not unless she was in her own way, but how did you navigate that? How did you open up to that? And so I think that that's probably something that really needs to be discussed is this and somebody else put it in the chat here, this social media stuff we got going on, we're all looking at all this stuff, and so therefore we're not really open to it, or we're so hyper focused on the negative. This is going bad, or he didn't text me back right away, or his text was too short, or he texted me GM instead of full good morning, and all this other foolishness. And it's really creating this warped sense. That's what I mean by it. It's difficult. And I think a lot of times standards are too high. I'm glad that your standards are pretty low, quite honestly. So, but
I have high standards. So, I have a client who is a man, and I feel like I constantly have to tell him get off of social media, get off the dating apps. Uh, I don't, scroll for a couple of minutes and get off, because I'm telling you, once you like, the algorithm knows how to algorithm. Right.
yeah,
So once you start looking at negativity, it's going to continue to take you down that road. Like, you have to watch not only what you feed your body as far as food and drink and all that, but you got to watch what you feed your mind, because what you continue to feed yourself is what you're going to see. I don't partake in any of that stuff. I don't partake in the negativity. I'm constantly listening to books on my phone. I'm constantly, just trying to improve myself. I don't consume any of that stuff. None of it. So so I don't see it. I don't
mm,
see it. It's BS. And I don't pay attention to it, because I know if I were okay, let's be serious. If I was seriously if I was seriously out here dating, if I were seriously out here dating and footloose and fancy free, then I know that I can go out here and attract any man I want, right? Because it's the power of me knowing me, loving on me, like, but I'm not. I'm literally, y'all. I just be BSing. Let me be very clear with Doctor. I just be BSing, y'all. I know a lot of people think we are actually dating. We're not. We're not. Okay, so let me just say that we are not dating. Um, but anyways, like, I feel like you have to be confident in yourself, and one thing that people lack is confidence. They're just and then they self-sabotage, they talk themselves out of, they start comparing themselves, then they go down this rabbit hole, their anxiety kicks in, they start second guessing themselves, and next thing you know, it goes to shit. Just like that. Like that, and that's them, like you say, being in their own way. I'm not in my own way. But that takes coaching for somebody to get there. And not everybody, it's a lot of women that will self sabotage, unfortunately. And it's a lot of men who think that, oh, she must be too good. She's too good. I can't believe I got this woman. Oh, my goodness. Oh, she's great, great, great. Next thing you know, self sabotage. The self doubt comes in, the low confidence.
but
I'm telling you.
that right there is self sabotaging when you are saying,
Hmm.
"I can't believe you have a certain type of woman." So, um,
Yeah, they do that. Trust me, they
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or they start
But the
thinking,
guy has to like you too back, right? I mean, it's one thing to attract a man or woman, but that person has to like you back too. I mean, and that's a big hurdle. And I don't know, that's a
how is
big
that a
hurdle.
big hurdle?
But if you go after a certain type of person and they don't like you back,
Why don't they like you back?
you're not their type.
One thing I tell women is, when we're out here and you got to people watch, right? A man is still, at the end of the day, still going to be a man. So a beautiful woman can walk by, but if she's not, a beautiful woman walks by and she ain't paying you a lick a day, why would you actively go pursue a woman that's not even looking at you, just because you might like her left and right titty and her booty cheeks, right? She's not even paying attention because she's beautiful. She's in her phone or whatever. But then a woman who, let's say, is a 6, 7, or 8, she walks by you and she gives you eye contact. She's flirting a little bit with you, right? So that's like an open invitation. Why go for somebody who clearly, may not be interested? So I feel like, we got, and women, we have to do a better job in letting men know that we're interested, right? Put your phone down, look up, smile. It's a lot. Like I just crack my pearly whites and I will smile at a man, and I give men compliments. I just gave a man a compliment yesterday. I said, you sure are cute, but not in a way to get that man to, hey, you want to come sleep with me, but give somebody a compliment. Like we're so wrapped up in ourselves. So I don't think dating is that damn hard.
Okay. Um,
Let's see it. Men against women is what keeps us from coming together. Yeah, I agree. I dislike those conversations. I agree, Ian. When someone is for you from conversation alone, everyone can't. I agree. I agree. So why chase somebody where the conversation isn't aligned? Why be interested in somebody who's not even showing you interest? I'm like, it's a waste of time and energy.
you
You're
were
right.
saying
I have
something.
never dated a woman. You ain't lying.
Yeah,
But I am a woman and I
it's
coach women.
it's not as easy as you say. It's not, and I appreciate, what I do appreciate you said is it's men looking for the cues and the openness from women. That I think is good advice. Um, but it's not as easy for men. It's not as easy, and a lot of times women will give off. Kevin Samuels. Here's one thing I disagree with Kevin Samuels. He used to say that black women should smile at black men. I don't agree with that at all,
You
because
don't think black women should smile at black men?
not just random black men at a store, or you walking through a fair, or because that would be an invitation for him to come up to you and talk to you.
Hmm.
So if you're not interested in his purpose wasn't in dating. He's just saying we got to get along, we got to like each other, and just smile and be friendly toward. Back in the days, back in the 70s, 80s, we used to head nod at people and acknowledge each other and all that kind of stuff, right? That doesn't really happen a lot today. I'm walking through airports, I see black people, they don't
Yeah.
smile, they don't look at, they don't even acknowledge your presence, right?
Yeah.
So
You're
so
right.
so right. So his statement about that was, let's get back to those times. The problem is that if ladies start smiling at dudes, and you don't have a romantic interest in him, or you don't think he's cute, it can bring some unwanted attention. So that's why I disagree with him, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not saying go around smiling like you Bozo the Clown and make it look like something wrong with you. I'm saying if you are interested in maybe getting the man to approach you, what's wrong with making eye contact and smiling? I'm not saying go around smiling at everybody. You're gonna look crazy. Okay, you're gonna look crazy just smiling at any and everybody. But if you are interested, but the only way you're gonna see somebody is if you put your phone down and actually look. So many people just walking, blindlessly. But no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, smile.
So um this Mr. You were saying something before, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but Mr. Stu says, and when if you scroll up a little bit, says one problem is good women and bad women are mixing together, hard to filter. How do you think that
Let
men
me find it.
would select for a good woman amongst the bad women that are out there? Is it the uniform? How do you
Wait, say
think
that
that?
again. How do I think that men can filter bad women from good women?
Correct. Yes. How does a man, in your estimation, tell the good women from the bad women?
I think you got to really now. I tell women and men, like, if you're looking, let's say you're on social media and you're looking at the woman who is showing butt and all this other stuff and titties, like, do you really want to get to know her, or do you want to get to know her body? So I think first it starts with you. What are you even looking for? Right. So where you meet somebody, like I tell my sons, like, don't like my oldest son loves beautiful women. I'm like, she Instagram model, like, boo, like, come on now. I don't know if she's gonna bring any substance because she's on Instagram and showing ass and titties. Like, what kind of substance is she gonna bring? Right. So let's start with what you're even looking at and where are you meeting these women? I think from there you got to have a conversation. Like, how else are you going to get to know her? I'm not a big proponent of the first date being something very expensive. I mean, go to the Starbucks. You don't have to consider it a date, but you can consider it a meet and greet. Don't keep having conversations. If you meet somebody on app, don't keep having conversations, because I promise you it doesn't translate to in person. The faster you meet somebody, the faster you can just get through, filter. But go to Starbucks and see, if you like the way their vibe, their energy is, right? What they're talking about. You got to get to know somebody. If you sit here looking at somebody's appearance and you judging her just by the way she looks, how are you that's going to be hard to filter in itself. Like, spend some time, get to know somebody. Women got to do the same thing. Just because, like, so and so, I ain't gonna say no names, but just because you 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", and 6'9", don't mean that my coochie gonna get wet just because of your height, right? I can't stand when men lead with height alone. What else do you bring here? I want to get to know you, right? And the only way you're gonna do that is going out with them, talking on the phone, FaceTiming, FaceTime sooner than later. So, you're not being catfished. Right. But, you got to invest time. If you're going to date, dating is a full-time job.
Y'all hit the like button. Y'all hit the like button. Can I go back to something we talked about? I know Ebony's not here. Can we go back to that, or am
Hey,
I just
Garrett.
gonna?
Look, he just got out his dance. Hey, boo. He said,
Um,
somebody said women in Chicago don't smile at all. I'm pretty sure they don't smile in New York either.
um, so the talking points that you don't listen to, um, what one of them is that guys are passed over, gone for Pookie's Ray Rays in their early years by the ladies, and then want to circle back around later on in life. You think this is a real thing?
Yeah.
And how does a man who is doing the right thing his whole life compete with that, handle that, deal with that? This is just a fact of life that when he turns 35, 40, this is what he's going to be faced with. Or how would you tell your sons to navigate that world?
What, women who were dating the bad boys and now looking for good guys?
Yes, yes.
Um, I mean, I think it's total discernment. I don't think it's that difficult. Like, I know, and I've had, look, I could look on Facebook and I could see people I went to high school with, and you see them in person, you don't recognize them. Right. But you like, damn, I know they look familiar. Now, I don't look that far off from when I looked in high school. So if you see me in public, you be like, oh, that's V. But it's some people that don't look like that. Right. They were cute in high school. They were popular. And then they come back around and you like, damn, I used to think that person was cute. They ain't cute no more. So it's discernment. I'm not that young girl that was dating bad boys and drug dealers, when I was like 18, 19, 20, whatever. That's not me anymore. So why? I don't know why. I don't. I think it's just using my standards, discernment. It's okay if you don't like somebody. It's okay if you don't align with them. I don't know, why do we make that a bad thing? If I don't align with somebody, I don't align with. I'm not going to make excuses.
Okay.
Hmm. I just say it's possible. There's love out here. And that's all I'm gonna say. Like I want people to understand like it's love out here and it's people out here looking for genuine connection. You know, if we and that was my first video on the dating series that I did. Like if you think it's bad men out here, the men only want booty, then I promise you that's all you're gonna see. That's all that's gonna be up in your DMs. If you think all women want your little bitty money and is about to use you, then I promise you that's all you're gonna see. What you think it shall be. I choose to think differently, and because I think differently, I attract differently, and but that also starts internally with you, the way you feel about yourself. And if you don't feel good about yourself, you're gonna keep attracting this stuff that's down here. Okay, you thinking? Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, I'm listening to you. I take what you're saying. I think you believe what you're saying, so I don't have any issues with that. So
Okay, and I don't look. I'm not going to sit here and take away from, because I have male clients, and I know they do struggle with attracting relationships. I'm not going to sit here and say that doesn't, you guys don't have issues. Um, but
why do they struggle? What's the struggle about them?
okay, I could tell you a client that, he's like, B, I don't know if I want to show interest, and it's a fine line between love bombing and, it's showing genuine interest. Right. And, but my thing, I'm like, stop, you know, first of all, think about what you want. If you're chasing any and every woman just because this one looks cute, this one looks cute, she looks available, but you're just going to get all kinds of stuff. Like, be intentional. Be intentional. And I don't know why men are so against being in the friend zone. The only way to get to me is to first be my friend. You're not getting to me any other way.
We have different definitions of the friend zone.
What,
What are you
what,
defining as the friend zone?
somebody who wants to get to know me. And I've had a hard time in that when I, especially when I was younger. I just felt like men didn't want to get to know me. They just wanted, oh man, she's attractive. I'm trying to hit, um and so yeah, I could always tell when somebody really just didn't want to get to know me, and I'd be like, if you get to know me, I'm actually a cool chick.
How long should someone? I don't agree with that definition, but by your definition, how long should someone stay in the friend zone?
I don't think there's a time period. I think, life is about when you get to know somebody, it's going through situations. It's not like you could be with somebody for 10 years and not know them. You have to go through situations. That's why I'm big on y'all take a trip. Like, I'm big on get out of the regular day-to-day operations, because the odds of you guys hitting a situation are few and far between. You're not going to learn somebody until you hit something comes up and you find out how they handle stress. When did they cry, did he run? Like, you're not, anybody could tell you how they may react, but you have to kind of see it. Right. So it's no time period of how long it's going to take you to learn somebody, but learn somebody.
And so while they're in the friend zone, what are they doing, or how are you guys interacting in that friend zone? Just getting to know each other, talking to every once in a while on the phone, or
Yeah.
going out to
Hey,
dinner every now and then.
yay, hey, yeah, just doing stuff, random stuff. I mean, it could be anything. Going to the movies. Ain't that right? But no, going to the movies and, getting to know somebody. What's wrong with that? I'm a big believer. I'm not sleeping with any and everybody. I mean, I just don't want everybody's energy up inside me. So you gonna have to.
That again. That's not my definition of the friend zone. I don't think that the vast majority of men would define what you're saying as the friend zone. The friend zone,
It's a
according to
temporary stop. Go ahead.
no, friend zone. Well, And that would be fine. A temporary stop until we, get to know each other about what you're envisioning and all that. But I think the friend zone is the place where men are placed who generally by the woman, and the woman has no sexual interest in them, but they keep them around to lift heavy things, take them to the movies every now and then, go bowling every now and then, listen to their problems. That is the friend zone. And I've told a story. I told it a while ago. I made a video that I haven't released yet. I told it again. I'll tell it again right here. There was a girl that I really liked, and or at least I wanted to get to know. And she called me up. No, yeah, she called. I called her. She called me. I can't remember. And she said, "Hey, buddy, I never thought that a guy and a girl could be friends. This, that, and the other." And she said something else. And then she's like, there's a Brian McKnight concert coming up. You want to go? No, no, I don't want to go. No, I'm not your buddy. I don't want to be friends with you in that way. You're not just going to use me as a bodyguard to go to a concert. I'm not going to Turks and Caicos with you and carrying your heavy luggage that you overpacked for. I'm not doing, and that's the friend zone, because a man has interest in you romantically. You have no feelings for them in a romantic way. Yet yet you're still using this man's services, whether it's the bodyguard or to lift heavy things or to hang your TV or to take your car to get the oil changed or whatever, using them in that way. That's my definition of the friend zone. So I advocate for that men not stay in that place, hoping, waiting that she goes up in 10 years, like that other people talk about on YouTube, hoping and waiting that it'll be your time when she runs through the bad
See,
boys or she gets tired of that.
I
That's
just
my
okay.
definition.
That to me is not the same, because if he has stated an interest, then that's something different. I'm talking about men who have not stated an interest, right? We just meet, we're cool. A man hasn't come up to me and say, V, by golly, I really like you and I would like to be more. Then I'd be like, psych, you gonna be right here carrying my luggage. I'm not saying that at all. Like, that woman should tell that man, look, I appreciate and respect the fact that you had enough courage to tell me that you were feeling me, but at this time, hun, I'm not feeling you like that, and then offer, hey, if you'd like to be friends and we could be friends, right? And he has every right to say no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you meet somebody and, y'all just cool and y'all kick it, then, what's wrong with just being friends and friendly? Like, I haven't come up and say, well, you know what, Dr. L, I love you and I want to be with you. I haven't, you would do the same thing. You would probably tell me, well, V, I ain't feeling you like that. Right. So I'm not
But
talking
but I
about
wouldn't but I
that.
wouldn't but I wouldn't continue to use your services or be around you in that way, because it, there's a difference between just being friendly. And I agree, the men and women can be friendly, but I'm not going to use your services. So if the shoe was on the other foot, you said to me, Dr. L, I just can't live without your great beard in my life. I just need that energy in my life, right?
I need it.
So, and I said, no, I'm not really feeling it. I mean, the glasses, they're just not doing it for me. They are doing
Okay.
it. They are doing it for me.
Oh, thank you.
But I continue to have you cook me dinner, and even I said everything you said. You don't have to do this, but you said I'm gonna convince you in your mind. You're having this conversation. Men do it too. I'm gonna convince you that I'm such a good woman. I'm such a good catch that I'm gonna cook you dinner. I'm gonna iron your clothes. I'm gonna do all the nurturing things that a traditional man wants. Would that be who is wrong in that situation? I
Me,
know,
if I'm
I
gonna sit
know,
there
I know
and
that you want me. I know that you want me.
that's no, that's completely on self. You think I'm gonna sit around here and
That's
iron your
you,
damn
V.
clothes?
That's you, V. And
Well, that's
that's
the
you. But
problem.
other people, men and women, both do this.
That's the problem.
That's why I'm saying, don't do it. Don't stay in that friend zone, because now it's going to take some shaking of the head, some get yourself together, man. This woman don't like you. It's going to take that. But this is
Mhm.
what the men are trying to say is don't abide in that place where you are being
I
used for your
agree.
time, energy, etc. Yeah.
I agree. Like, that's going to be completely on the self. Love yourself enough to know that if you want something more and that person has told you they are not interested, then move on. Yeah. I mean, like, when I end a relationship, I mean, it depends, right? I'm not literally interested in being your friend anymore. If like, why? If we only had a romantic relationship and we don't have any kids together, right? But that's my boundary. And that's just, I can be cool. I'm not going to be sitting around here with a voodoo doll and stabbing your ass every day, right?
But
I'm
people
not
do
going to,
that. But people do
that's
that, right?
people, but those people need coaching. That's the thing.
Well,
People,
that's what you're
every,
there for, and that's what I'm
yes,
here for, right? To tell them. And
yes.
my advice to them is don't do that. So
Yeah, like work on yourself. Work on why. Yeah, that would be completely on them. But I'm just saying, be friendly. Sure. Okay,
I
maybe
think
I'll
it's I
say be
think I don't
friendly.
think it's on them. I think it's on the other person. I think it's on I know that you have interest in me, or or whatever, male or female, goes both ways. But I, as the person, know this. I know that you like me in this way, and I'm still going to ask you to do things. No, I think it's on you, because we look at all these other cases and we look at all these attachment styles. We look at the psychology and all that. There's certain people who just take advantage of it, and those people who are in this state of mind don't have this state of mind. So we got to break them out of that. I agree. But if
Mm,
I know it, I'm abusing you. I'm abusing this
well,
relationship.
that I think it's on the person that allows themselves to be used. You can only control yourself. I'm not going to worry about. I mean, if I allowed it, a lot of men would use me up, right? But I don't allow it. You
You
know.
don't, and you're saying everything. I'm just My point in saying this is that I'm talking to not only I'm talking to with you, but to everyone else, and saying, listen, men don't go for that, and women don't go for that. If you have an interest in a man, he tells you I'm not this way, and the men will use you. They'll sleep with you. They'll do whatever, and you
Yes, they
think that
will.
you think that he's told you I don't want anything else. He's told you, or you think the friends with benefits. He's told you this, and now you think because you're still sleeping together that you
Yeah,
can
he's going to
eventually get
change
him
his
to
mind.
he's gonna change
He's
his
not going
mind.
to change his mind.
He's not gonna change his mind. That's my
No,
point.
look, I'm gonna tell you this. This is because I've had a daddy all my life. My daddy has been telling me and my sister, may she rest in peace, since we were 2 years old. A man is gonna tell you anything to get in your drawers. My daddy has told us that since we were little girls. Okay, so I am fully aware of that. I control the power of the coochie. Okay, so everybody don't get it to be inside of this. And I'm fully aware. I believe in exchange of energies. I don't want to take in everybody's energy up in here because it's too precious and she's disease free, as we talked about in another show that 1 and 2 African American women have herpes. My coochie is clean and she's trying to stay that way. So I just don't like we have to get to a point to where we are very, all of us, men too, like, control who has access to you. You should treat yourself like in such a way that everybody doesn't get access to you. You should love yourself enough to know that, look, everybody doesn't get this type of access. You're blessed. If I let you in this space and I let you touch my naked body, oh, you got some access that a whole lot of people ain't getting, right? And so we have to put ourselves on that pedestal. I'm not expecting you to put me on that pedestal. I'm putting myself up there. I know that this is prime time over here, right? You can't just give yourself out to everybody. This ain't Halloween. I ain't no trick or treat candy. So, and like Blondie said, I agree with V on this. Yes, you are
Is
control.
that my
Stop.
sub? Don't be agreeing with other people on my subs there. What y'all doing, man? Is that my sub?
No, she probably not your sub because
Probably not anymore, right?
should have came on over here because yeah, we all got to work. Men too, like seriously, men too. Love on yourself. Don't give yourself to any and everybody. Like I tell my sons, like, don't deposit your sperm in everybody's coochie. Okay, everybody doesn't need to have your children along the way. Like, let's use some discernment and I do believe in like I said, the exchange of energies. Like, I don't want everybody's energy confusing energy up inside of me. Yes. Okay. Dr. L, I want you to be more positive. You came on here and I told you, boo, behind the scenes. I said, you're going to be positive in this dating.
I know you're gonna yell at me as soon as we get off. I am being
Yes, I am.
positive.
I told you to come on here, be positive. I
You
told you
did.
that.
You did. Y'all don't know. I am gonna get chewed out tonight. So all I'm saying is, I just want people to be. I guess I'm a realist, and I agree. I don't want to be negative, but I want to be a realist, and I just think that it's men and women are different. It's different for
okay.
men. It's different for men to get relationships. It's harder because women are a lot more selective. We can't just walk down the street and women are just smiling at. I mean, everybody don't look like Dr. L. Every man out here just can't get women down trying to beat in his door. So I want
I
men to be.
disagree.
I just
I
want men.
disagree.
I just want men to be the best version of themselves, to be realistic, to go out to. Yes, I agree with you. Date within your social economic class. Be realistic, and move with a sense of purpose and authority. In particular, move with a sense of purpose. And once you start to fulfill your purpose as a man, doors will open up to you.
I agree with. Men need to work on their purpose. Okay, men need to, yes, because you're supposed to be the leader. I can't guide you to your purpose. That is completely on you. Women, please do not date a man who does not fully know what his purpose is, because that confusing energy will be all around you, and then you're gonna be wondering why you getting confusing hints from him, because he needs to find himself first. But I do disagree that I look, being somebody as a woman coach, who most of her clients have been men for the last couple of years, have been men. I fully believe that men, you know, y'all can attract. It's not that hard. It's Dr.
You're
L.
saying this.
You can't tell me, because I will, because you haven't been coached by me. That's all I'm gonna say. A man can attract any woman he wants. It's not that damn hard. It's not. Y'all make women to be this mystical creature, and it's not. It's really not that hard. I got evidence, case studies, proof to tell you that I know what I'm talking about. It's just, knowing who you're going after, knowing what women really want. Women are not that daggone difficult to figure out. They're not. Y'all make it seem like it, but we're not that difficult. That's all I'm saying. Okay? I see, Doctor. I see. I'm at to coach you. I'm gonna coach you to get a woman like me. But no, seriously. I mean, I'm sure Mr. Nita will tell you as well. Like, it's not that difficult. Let's stop making it so daggone hard. Okay, like, go after the women who are interested in you as well. Like, stop
But that,
chasing
but that,
women
but
who aren't
well,
interested.
I think that's a big key, that more men, probably women too, need to really hear and really digest and really let sink in, is that you need to go after people who are giving you the energy, the pheromones, the smiles, whatever it is. You need to go after them. And if we go after them, but first of all, men need to level up, because
Yes.
you can be cute as I don't know what, body, whatever. But if you open up your mouth and you're just a box of rocks, or
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a good job or whatever, then you're going to be placed in a different category, right? Maybe you're just for recreation versus being worth
Yes.
long time, right? Those are different things, and guys place women in that category just like women place guys in that category. So all that has to be in play. But I guess I would disagree with, you can attract any woman you want. You can't attract any woman you want.
Yes, you
And
can.
the women are already attracted to you. I mean, you just got to know how to reel them in, right? That
Hmm.
if you
I
walk
firmly
through
believe you can attract. Women love a confident man. If you already think you can't, then you can't. Period. If I go out, I think I can attract any man I want. And here I am, 5'4". I mean, I'm in pretty good shape, but I got a little tummy here, but I'm in pretty good shape. And you
Yeah,
know
but
what?
men are not
I
that
inherited my
selective.
mama
Men are not
Chinese
men
booty.
Men are not that selective. Men are not that
That's not
selective.
bullshit. Bullshit.
Not
Men.
we're nowhere near as selective as you know, that you know the studies. The men are not as selective as women are. 80%, 80 to 85, and I heard 90% of men are invisible to women. You can't tell me that a guy just walking down the street can attract any woman. There's no way that that's true. You know that.
He
But a
he could
woman
if he
can walk
worked
down the
on
street,
himself.
a
Bullshit.
woman.
No, a woman
Well,
cannot.
I'm agreeing with you. The most important thing that men need to do is improve. Matter of fact,
Yes.
based on yesterday's show, I made a video today. It's going to be releasing hopefully soon. Is that number one thing we need to do is improve. So yes, work on your
Yes.
confidence, work on get in the gym,
Yes.
shape stuff up and all that. But that still isn't going to mean that you're going to attract someone. You might be attractive, but you still might not attract them.
I disagree. And I'm gonna just tell you, I disagree. From the men that I've worked with, I disagree. I disagree. Like I've seen it
You're
over and
saying
over
you're
again.
saying you're saying that they can attract any woman. I'm not disagreeing that they might become more attractive and their pool might have increased. Maybe they attracted 2 women before, but now they're up to 5. But now, and I'm basing it out of 20. So out of 20 women, they might attract 2 normally. Working with you now, they're up to their confidence is up. They're in the gym, whatever. Now they're up to 5 or 6. You're never going to attract all 20 of them. No
Probably
one's
not all
going to do
20.
that.
I'm not going to attract all 20 men, but you will attract more. You can attract somebody who aligns with you. Your odds
Right.
will increase, right? You
I
know, if
agree
you
with
were
that, yeah.
attracting 2, then maybe instead of out of the 20, maybe we can attract 10. What's wrong with that? Like, those are good odds, right? To go from 2 to 10, So yeah, it's highly possible. It's possible. Okay, but if you think you can't, then you can't. There's nothing I could tell you that's going to change your mind. If you think you can't, you can't. I mean, like the engine could, it's all in your own belief system. That's why I'm like, you got to believe it. Why don't you have enough confidence in, this person needs to have enough confidence in themselves to believe like I'm the hot shit. Like I look good. I look better than her and her. I don't care what she got going on. Like I'm just,
Miss
you got
Anita
to
is in
believe
the
that
chat.
about yourself.
Miss Anita is in the chat, and she put this up
Okay,
on
let
her
me see.
she put
Let me
this up
try to
on.
find it. Hold on
No,
now.
no. I'm just saying. I'm just acknowledging that she's here. So
Oh,
she
okay. I was like,
she
I
put up
was,
on the chat. She put up on not in the chat. I'm sorry. She put up on her YouTube page. There was a brother. I don't know if I can find it. There was a brother who was saying, "I know I'm the ish. I know I'm the ish. I know it." And Miss Anita said, "Brother, really? Everybody can't attract every person. I don't want to. I
I,
don't. Now, I don't want to seem like I'm a defeatist or a negative Nelly or anything. I definitely
you
agree
are.
with you. I definitely agree with you that people need to work on themselves and become the best version of themselves,
Yes. Women too.
all that,
Women
and
too.
become confident. Will your pool expand? Absolutely.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
it will.
I will grant you up until that place that all that is definitely true. And I
Yes.
want men to do that, to think highly of themselves,
Yes.
to understand, accept their accomplishments, work on new accomplishments, all that. Yes, I definitely agree with that. And your pool of applicants will expand.
Yes, will expand.
Yes.
Will 100% will expand. So, I mean, I'm not saying you can attract everybody because I'm not going to align with, let's say, heaven forbid, let's say a Trumpster. We not gonna, I don't care what they got going on. We're not gonna lie. So yeah, I'm not saying every single body, but somebody that you might want to attract. You work on yourself, you improve your skill set, how you show up, how you talk to somebody. Women want consistency. Like that's what I'm like. It's not that hard to figure a woman out if you work with a woman. We want somebody to show up. We want some effort. We want you to be consistent in your effort. We want you to learn how to be emotionally mature. We want you to, like these are common things that you need to do, learn, period. For your jobs, your communication needs to improve, period. Right. But yeah, pursue us. I'm not saying chase us. I said pursue us. Let us know you're interested, right? But yes, there could be a fine line from you pursuing us from you stalking us. Like I saw you at the grocery store at 2:02, in the afternoon. Like, okay, you stalking me. But I'm saying, let me know that you're interested. Let me know that you have a plan. V, I'd like to take you out. Oh, okay. I've gone out with men just because of their approach. I'm like, oh, I really appreciate your approach, right? I would really love to take you out. V, would you be available Thursday night at 8 o'clock? I will. Oh, absolutely. I said, I like a man who knows how to approach a woman. You
Do you
approach me
think
like
that
you got some sense.
every woman has that ability? Every woman has that ability?
Because there's a lot of simple mindedness. He must be this. He must, he must be 6'8", he must be this and that. Like, if that is what your criteria is to attract a relationship, then you just I promise you, I've dated tall men. I'm telling you, I've dated tall men. My ex-husband was tall. My last relationship, he was tall. I dated a man who was straight from the motherland, and he was 6'8", 6'9", and his penis was this big. So, okay, and I'm just letting you know that.
I've heard that.
I'm just letting you know, I thought it was cut off in war or something. I was like, where's the rest of it? So the thing is, y'all stop making these assumptions about, you don't know. Like, I'm telling you, get to know somebody. I think my son home. He probably heard me say that. But, get to know somebody. Period. Stop making these assumptions. Like, and that's the thing. We box people into these categories. How is it helpful? It's not helpful. I'm not opposed to dating outside. I know we talked about this. I'm not that I go outside of my race to get men. I'm not opposed to dating men outside of my race. I am biracial myself. If I am half Chinese, I am half black. If I met my mom would be so happy. If I met a cool Chinese man and he came over here and asked me out and blah, blah, blah. I've been on dates with Korean men. I'm not opposed to dating outside my race, so I mean, because I am of two races. So, I'm just like, stop being so close-minded. That's all I'm saying, Dr. L. Oh, and see, you can't see my son coming down the steps, but my son is an attractive young man who is I don't think a lot of women who are in their well, not a lot of women who don't, they're in their 40s and 50s. Would you like to say hi? You can't see him. Okay, but I'm saying my son he knows his mother. He can vouch for exactly what I'm saying. Okay, my son ain't 6'5". Okay, he is an athlete. He's an athlete. I will tell you that. Played in the SEC for football. So, but my son ain't 6'5", 6'7", or even 6 feet. And my son can get any woman he wants because he has me as his mother. That's all I'm saying. You can sit there and look shocked. Okay, don't believe me. I'm saying you can ask. Okay, don't believe me. I'm not gonna keep telling you. Yeah, Ian Roberts, he believes me. Ian, thank you, boo. He believes me. We got Dr. L over here not believing me, and that's okay. I'm gonna coach Dr. L.
No, I acknowledged that you will expand your pool of applicants when you have confidence in something going on. I've acknowledged that.
Okay.
I've acknowledged that. So,
yeah. Well, I'm gonna just leave it at that. If anyone would like to hear more about the mindset, like, go check out my last video, where I talk about dating. Like, that's step number 1 is your mindset, right? And when I start working with clients, like, we have to address your mindset, because if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't, right? And that's just it, right? I talk about how that pastor at the wedding, was trying to talk after the wedding, and I tell a story how he just told me, like, it's over for you, you 50-year-old women, and you might as well just go on and take what you can get. He wanted to meet with me last week, and I'm thinking I'm thinking God sent him some ordained message for me. And that was the message. And I said, you know what? I don't subscribe to that fear-based mentality. Never have, never will. You're not going to scare me into thinking that I need to settle. Right. But I feel like I'm not going to get into the conversation, but I feel like that's what, a lot of the church is like, it's fear-based, and I'm not fear-based. I'm hope-based. I believe in God, and I know that he can turn any situation around, and I'm not going to sit here and believe in people's fears. That doesn't serve me.
what does it mean to settle to you? What does that mean to you?
For me, settling would mean I'm just with somebody I don't feel the butterflies with, or not even the butterflies. Like, I don't genuinely love this person. I'm just with this person because he fills a void, just to be able to say that I have a man. I'd rather be solo. We got to stop with this, this stigma that everybody has to be in a relationship to be happy. No, the hell you don't. You don't have to be married. You don't have to be in a relationship. If you want to be single, be single.
You said something before about are you good with time? We've been on for 2 hours. I don't want to. If you good with time, or are you gonna yell at me later?
Um,
You're
I'm gonna
gonna yell
yell
at
at
me.
you again. Yeah. As soon as we get off,
Y'all hit the like button. Come on now, 37 likes. All right, this can be the last topic if you want. So, if I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, why you said this, and I've talked to other women who said this. Why do you go out with men who you don't have an interest in, but you just do it because they approached you or because you didn't have anything better to do? And this is what ladies have told me, not me, but they've said, I've heard them say this, like, I just went out with this guy because I didn't have anything better to do. Why do y'all do that? Why would you do that?
okay. I don't do that. Now, have I gone out on dates with men that didn't make my heart go pitter pat right away? Yes, I have. I ended up marrying one. That's why.
Okay.
Because I'm the type of person I need to get to know you. And I mean, I'm a woman of substance. I wasn't even attracted to the man I married. I wasn't attracted to him at all. But we became friends. He's my frat brother. He even hooked me out on, we would go out to the club. He'd be like, V, and this was over 20 some years ago. V, this dude, he's trying to get at you. And I'm like, oh, okay. I even went out on a date with one of his friends because he was like, oh, my boy, he really wants to, go on it. We went to a basketball game and of course I never slept with any of his friends, but I married one. So that's why I do it. I want to get to know somebody. Like, how am I supposed to know if you're my forever if I don't know you? I'm supposed to just go off on your looks alone, your height? Is your height gonna, I mean, it might keep me warm at night, but is it going to, get us into retirement? Is your height gonna get me to travel around the world? What is your height going to do for me? It's not gonna do anything. So I need to get to know you. So that's why I go out with men who I might not, shoot. And if you think that oh, I'm so in love, like I don't have an anxious attachment style, and I think that's key, right? Just because you show me a little bit of attention, I'm so in love. Oh my gosh, girl, I have found the one. That is not me. And that's why we have to heal ourselves before we start dating. Okay, because anybody show you a little bit of attention to love, you're going to go after that person and you're going to think it's love, and it's not love. It's your attachment style that's calling it love. Right? I don't have those issues. Right? So that's why I can go out with somebody and be a-okay with going out. Like, right. Is a relationship really necessary at an older age? Hey boo. See, we be chatting. And I will tell you, hun, no, I think companionship. I think the older we get, people want companionship. Uh, I don't think marriage is necessary. This is just me. But I think companionship, right? I want to be able to say so and so is getting married in 6 months. You're gonna be my plus one. I want to know, like, we gonna, just I want to know that we're in each other's corners, right? But do we have to get married and live? I don't even need to live with my person again. I know you and I chatted about that. Do you need to live with your next woman?
I don't need to. I mean, it would be nice, but I think probably at this age, like, you get settled, right? I mean, I know where my stuff is
Mm-hmm.
at. I mean, I definitely would make space for them, I don't know. I mean, if a woman really wanted to, like, listen, I want to get married, I want to live together, I'd be like, okay. But if they also said, listen, I don't either, I want to get married or we just it's just you and me, I'm good with either one. So, but I do want a person. I do want a person who is my ride or die. I definitely want that. I definitely want that.
Okay. I think everybody wants that, right? I think everybody in the chat wants somebody, that makes them feel safe. I think everybody wants that. We all want our one person.
Yeah, but some people don't want one person. They're open to polys and all this other stuff. So,
That's
and
fine.
I've run into people like that. So,
And you know what? And if you don't align with that, like I don't align with that, I'm like, well, I ain't got but one coochie over here. So you either deal with this one coochie or you deal with mine is not an option. Like, take control over yourself. Like, you don't have to be a participant in other people's BS. Don't let someone else define your life. I mean, who you dating, Diddy? Like, stop letting other people define where your coochie going, where your penis going, right? Take control over yourself. I mean, I see a penis here every single day, and he's snoring right now. It's my dog. So take control over your body parts. Quit letting everybody touch you. Dr. L. Okay, so case studies of East Point. Can you share, do me a favor, share case studies of why other women do that? Sorry, I'm behind in the chat. What is that? I don't know if you know, Dr. L.
I don't know.
Height statistically matters. Perception of how people look at you, for better or worse. Higher percentage of getting. Unfortunately, Garrett, I know a lot of people care about height. A lot of women. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. I'm not going to deny that. The last two men I dated were 6'4". Married. So I'm not going to deny that whatsoever. I just don't think it should be the only criteria. I think how somebody treats you and how somebody makes you feel, that should be the criteria.
I'm gonna, to that aspect of height. Listen, I again, I made a video today. I'm gonna drop it in a day or two, but I was on a trail, and there was this guy that I worked at the PD with. I mean, if this guy is 5'4", I'm saying a lot. He was a police officer and all that. So he bossed up. He made the most of his time, his opportunities, and so he did some stuff at the PD that allowed him to get access into some outside work. And so he went to school while he was at the PD, got his bachelor's degree, and then he got something else, some kind of highly technical master's degree after that. And so, he retired for a few years before I did. And then after he retired, he worked for this company, a big time cell phone company. Still works there today, and he's like one of the regional managers or high VPs or something like that in the company. Got to be making well into the six figures plus his pension. He's got to be doing really good. So I saw him the other day. Again, he's if he's 5'4", I'm saying a lot. He might be 5'3", but so he moved his way up. He got promoted, and he had a beautiful woman who was taller than him walking on his trail that I just saw. When I go for my walks. So it can be done. You just got to boss up and make the most out of yourself. So yes, I definitely agree that confidence and making the most of yourself can open up opportunities for you. So
yeah, if Zendaya, is it Zendaya, right? Her man, Tom Holland, she about to get married to him. He's shorter. Now, if she can do it, why can't I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's women out here that don't care about height. Then go for those women, right? Stop trying to be with women who don't want you. Then maybe that's why your dating life is so damn difficult. I know plenty of women who are single who would love a good man. Like, y'all listen, like I tell one of my clients, stop listening to what's on social media. He's like, look at this, women. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know these chicks that think like this. But if you keep feeding it, then that's what you shall see.
There's truth to that, because when you go outside, and Miles put this in there, he says, I'm 6 feet and I see men much shorter in greater relationships. I see it all the time. I see it all the time. I've been go to the beach, I go other places, right? So you really got to kind of get out of this. I mean, their pool of people who want them is probably smaller, but you find somebody who's on your level or who's thinking outside the box. And I go to the movies, I see people, you just go outside and touch grass, and you'll be good.
I agree. So East Point said, V, sorry, I was referring to when Dr. L had asked why women go out with men they have no interest in. So, I mean, the only thing I could say, East Point, is like, look, I've done it. Like, and I consider myself to be a great catch. And I do it because, like, and I encourage women to do it. Now, I'm not saying go out with somebody who absolutely grosses you out, that it's not a chance in hell, that I don't care if they became Michael Jordan. Like, I'm not saying, like, go out with somebody who just
So you
disturbs your
can't
soul.
attract everybody you want. Go
No,
ahead.
no,
Go
I
ahead.
didn't look. All I'm saying, I'm not saying go out with somebody who grosses you out, right? Because that's why would you even waste your time, right? There's some people that gross you out because of the way they think, right? The way they think, they're hateful, they're small minded, they have a very negative personality. Why would you even want to be around that? Period, right? So I go out with people if they approach me in a good way, they're nice, they're polite, they're respectful, and why who am I to sit here and say I don't even know them? So how am I just be like, get on out here? I don't even know you. If you look decent and you dressed well and you approach me like a man, I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, sure. Sure, let me find out a little bit about you. Then I can make a decision. My decision will be well informed. It's not based on girl, he wore a size 10 shoe. Like, it's something stupid like that. Like, and I've been there in my 20s. I'm damn near 50 years old.
Oh, that's a disqualification. Where I never heard that one. Wearing a size 10 shoes is a
No,
disqualification.
not that, but if his shoes were dirty.
I think it
Like I
is.
said,
I
I
think it
was
was.
I was there back in the day. Like, let's see, Garrett said I'm 6'2". Will disqualify women if height is a big deal. And some of the best men I know range from 4 to Garrett, come on now. 4'10". You stretching it now. I'll
I met
tell
a
you
dude.
right now.
No, I know a guy who's 4'10", who's not a little person. I know. He works at one of them oil changing places. He's like 4'10" or 4'11". Absolutely.
Okay, so is his woman 4'10" and 4'11" as well, or is she like
I don't know if he
five
has a
eight?
woman. I don't know if he has a woman. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so
I just see him at the oil changing place. I don't know him, but I just know of him, I should say.
okay.
I
Well,
don't know him
4'10"
personally.
will come at my nipples. So I'm not that would be stretching it for me. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, Garrett, 4'10". You can get on up in here. Like that's just we stretching it right here. Like, I do want to absolutely be attracted to my person, but I do believe that attraction grows. I do believe attraction grows. I don't want to be with somebody where I'm just off the cusp, sexually drawn to them. Then I'm like, I'm getting naked quick, right? So I don't want to go off just physical sexual attraction. Like that's never a good mix. So I just try to avoid that. Let's see. Somebody said something up here, and I was trying to mm, go to an environment where your height is equivalent to 6'4", even if you're 5'9". Like to Asia, where the women are shorter?
He's talking about probably going. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well,
If
my
that's
mom
it, I
is
mean,
short.
if
Like
it,
I said, she Chinese, she short.
yeah.
Some of my house
So
said
that's why.
4'10", that's a hobbit. Yeah, yeah, you kind of pushing it.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, I'ma just say this, boo. We'll wrap up and just say, look, y'all love who you love. Love if somebody's interested in you and you're down to get to know them. Why not? I just feel like you never know where you may find love. We put this face on it and say he or she must look like this. She must look like Halle Berry. She must have a flat stomach, fat ass, round titties. Like we put this image, and she may look nothing like that, but she may treat you like a king and she may really love you. Like I'm not saying not be attracted to her. You might be attracted to her, right? I hope you are. I do believe I got to be attracted to the person. Right. Yeah, it's got to be some type of attraction. Maybe his brain attracts me. Maybe the way he communicates attracts me, but I gotta want to get naked. Like I don't want to not get naked. Eventually I want to have sex. I do want to eventually have sex. So
Yeah, I
pandering
agree.
to
I
business,
I,
I
I
think.
actually agree with that.
Okay, yeah, let's see. There are entirely too many average women on Kendra, Pop the Balloon. I don't know who these people are. Kevin, 1 point. It's an actual sample size. Mm, okay, notice women laughing. Garrett, yes, come on now. 4'10", you pushing it. Okay, get an example. At least let him be at least 5'3". Okay, can we say 5'3", 5'4"? I'm 5'4". Then he and I would be eye to eye.
So you would date a guy who's 5'3"?
I'm gonna tell you this.
Crickets? Anyone? Crickets? Crickets?
He would have to be. Look, he'd have to be fit. You pick a struggle, right? Pick a struggle. I'm saying
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm
no.
saying.
If
All the
you would,
manifesting stuff you was talking about before, you can't.
no,
And
that's not
I'm
true.
being a real, when I'm being a real, that man could have as much, the 4'10" guy, the 5'2" guy, the 5'3" guy could have as much confidence. There's still some limitations. Tell men the truth. Tell
but come on
men the
now,
truth.
y'all got the same damn limitations. You act like you ain't got the same. If a woman that had a beautiful heart and she weigh you, let's say you weigh 250 and she coming up in 500 pounds, you gonna give her a chance?
But
Like
we're honest about
stop
that.
acting like
But
y'all
we're
don't
honest
have
about that.
y'all.
You're saying we're honest about that, and we're saying we'll tell you in a minute. But you're saying no, just build your confidence up. You can attract any man you want. That is not the truth. It's not.
You may attract any
So
woman,
there you go.
right?
Okay, there you go. There
You said
just,
any,
you just won't come
I
off.
feel like I can attract any man, but yeah, come on now, like five.
There are
Somebody that's taller.
there are some women with limitations.
Everybody has preferences.
Go ahead,
Why
I'm
are we acting like people don't have preferences? I'm not saying the whole gamut is
then
your.
tell them that they can't attract anyone that they want. That's the issue. I'm saying you're saying if you boss up, get this confidence up, you can attract any woman in the world. That's not true.
Are there not short
That's
men
why
that have
that's
beautiful
why I
women?
said,
Are there not really short men that have beautiful women? You just gave a damn example about the Verizon dude.
he can't attract any woman he wants.
How do you know that? How do you know? You just said he had a beautiful
Because
woman.
you are hemming and hawing about this. You.
You said
You're
5'3",
hemming and hawing about this.
5'3". I'm like, you know what? Like I said, you're gonna have to be really you're gonna have to be in really great shape. And I'm gonna be very honest. Like, yeah, because I live a very healthy lifestyle. So if you're short, then okay, I could deal with the shortness, but you're gonna have to meet you're gonna have to meet the other requirements. I require my men to be in good shape. Period. Just like there's a lot of men who want me to be in good shape.
5'3" guy who's in shape has a chance with you.
Is he emotionally mature? And these are things that doctor, these are things I require for any man who's 6'5", 6'9", 7 feet. My requirements are he has to be emotionally mature. I don't care about the physical. He has to be emotionally mature. He has to be masculine. He has to know how to communicate. These are things that I need. Okay. He has to be financially stable. It's not about the physical stuff.
Those are baseline requirements. Those are baseline requirements.
These
For
are
anyone,
baseline
whether
requirements for
you're
me.
6'9" or 6'5" or whatever. The
Yes.
question is that the 5'3" guy have the same chance as the 6'5" guy. That's the question.
Yeah, I would say yes, he does. I would say yes, he does. I'm not stuck on height, just like I'm not stuck on looks. If you saw my ex-husband, you'd know why. Like I'm not stuck on looks. Even at my divorce hearing, my attorney looked at me, a beautiful black woman, and she said, "How did he get you?" And I said, "I wondered the same thing," because he had a cool personality. He's not an attractive man. By standards, women wouldn't find him attractive. But I thought he was cool, and I thought he had a cool personality. So I'm not as shallow as you want me to be. I'm just not. Sorry.
I didn't say I want you to be shallow.
You want me to be like, oh my goodness. But
no, I want you to be real and honest with people.
And I am real.
And
my girlfriend should tell you, my ex-husband is not attractive by any means.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But can he attract anyone that he wants? Can a 5'3" guy attract anyone that he wants? Can a 5'6" guy attract? No. That's why I said I gave you up to the point where you said if he builds up his confidence, build up who he is, his pool will expand. But you're saying you can do anything you want to do. You can get out here and you can change the world. That's not true.
Wow, that is true, because I believe in the power of manifesting. I believe in the power of prayer. Why not believe anything is possible? I'm not gonna sit here and say that everything that's small-minded. Anything is possible to me. Period.
Okay.
Period. But if you have that mindset that you can't get this, you can't do that, then so be it. Then that's going to be your experience.
I'm not telling people that they can't. I'm not telling people that they can't. I'm telling people that they should go as high and as far and as fast as they can go. But understand that if you're driving a Nissan Altima versus some other high-powered car, you can only push it to a certain degree. That's all I'm saying. So
That's
we
fine. That's
right,
fine. Well, boss up in other ways. Boss
right,
up in other ways.
right. I agree
That's what
with
I'm
that.
saying.
Boss up
Work
in
on
other ways.
yourself. Like
Right. I agree
I
with
tell
that.
my middle son, like he's shorter. My middle son is shorter. And I said, dude, you can't be short and broke. Pick a struggle. I'm very real and honest. Like pick a struggle. You women, look, you know what woman wants somebody's broke. But my son is a college student. Let me clarify. Okay, he's a college student. Yeah, so yeah, and I'm like, dude, even he think he can get any woman. That's fine. I love the confidence in my children. But I'm like, dude, you're short and broke. Okay, level up, get your life together. Okay, because he's 5'8", right? So level up,
And
get
5'8"
your
is short. Short, broke, and he's got to pick a struggle. So it's a struggle. You see what I'm saying?
It is a struggle. Yes,
All right.
it is a struggle because of the broke
I'm gonna tell you
piece.
right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. I've never struggled a day in my life. Well,
Okay, then. So what you worried about it so much?
well, because there are men out there who are hearing this. Men out there are hearing this, and I don't want to bring up last night, but as we talk about in this space, that they hear this type of stuff and they retreat to their man caves and they don't want to date and they don't want to try. So that's why I'm saying that's why I want to get this out of their mind that you have to be this certain way. You don't have to be this certain way. The best you can do for anyone is number one is not look at yourself as being in a struggle. That's number one. Number two is change your mindset to believe that you can achieve anything you want to achieve in life. That's why I'm harping on this, because there's people out there who are overweight, who are have a struggle about being 5'8" or whatever. And the truth of the matter is, when you go outside, you see all this you see a big world, you see opportunities. And if we want to get men off the couch, we want to get men to approach, we want to get men to go back to college, we want to get men to do these things, we can't fill them with ideas that somehow, some way, that they are lesser than. That's my point.
Okay. So Garrett, you're not going to, I didn't say he could attract all women. I said he can attract the woman he wants. Any woman
That's not what you
he
said,
wants.
That's not what
I
you
didn't
said.
say he could, I did not say it, you can attract every single woman. How are you going to attract?
You
How
gotta
is
go back and
anybody
watch
going to
this video.
attract
I challenged you on this like 5
any
times.
single woman that he wants? That he wants. How am I going to, I can't attract every single man in the entire world. Any man that I
challenged you
want.
about this a number of times. That's why I said what I said.
I said, no, I know I said any man, any woman that he wants. And any woman that he wants.
I watch these again. So
okay, watch it. Because watch it again. Hell, as soon as we finish on this, go back and watch it. Because I know dang well, I'm not saying how could anybody attract the whole world? What do you, God?
I agree with that.
Everybody could attract the whole world. Come on now.
I agree with that. And
okay, but if
you did at one point you did say you can attract any woman that
he
wants him. No. That's still
wants
too
him.
much. Saying he can attract any woman that he wants is still too much, because there are people out there he still cannot attract.
Okay,
There are people.
Okay, I'm not gonna keep debating this. You keep your little negative Nancy mindset, and I'm gonna keep my positive mindset, because we wear two different glasses. Maybe you need to wear these glasses. I'm gonna ship some to you.
Oh, you should.
I do not. I see, because I don't have a negative mindset. I don't, because I'm telling you, if you think that's just life. Like that's life. Everything is energy. Like even those who believe in the Bible. Like I mean, you got to have faith. Is that not all in Hebrews? Like if you don't have faith, then what do you have? If you don't have faith, then just go on and give up and just crumble and just move on and marry your damn dog and a blow up doll. Like if you don't have faith, then what? How are you living your life? I don't subscribe to that mentality. I don't think anybody is better than me. I don't give a damn if I don't care. You seen women that they ain't got no arms, no legs, nothing but a torso, and they got a damn man. So bullshit. So you're not gonna sit here and tell me that you people not out here attracting people. Now, attracting a whole world, I ain't never said that people could attract the whole damn world. But I do believe if you want to get with somebody who you're very interested in, and that could be 10, 20 women, we said 20 or whatever, if you level up and you boss up and you work on what you mentally feel about yourself, you think and feel about yourself, I strongly believe you can attract somebody that aligns with you. Why would you want to attract any and everybody? I don't want to attract any and everybody. There's men that be up in my DMs. I'm not for everybody. So why would I want to attract any and everybody? But okay, I'm just saying, you be negative. I know, yeah, Dr. Negative Nancy, because I don't subscribe to, like I said, like I told the pastor to his face. I said, I don't subscribe to that fear-based stuff. You're not going to hit me with the limited resources scarcity mindset, neither which I have. I don't give a damn. I ain't got no booty, y'all. I'm telling you right now. But you know what I do got? A working coochie. So, I don't subscribe to any of that fear-based stuff. My mindset is very strong, and you're not going to sit here and tell me that I'm that I ain't hot shit. Like, you just not gonna sit here and tell me that. If you don't believe in yourself, then who am I to tell you any differently? That's it. So that on that note, okay. Yes, Jack. Yeah, yes. No one is trying to attract everyone, but I highly agree with this. Dating is a numbers game. It is. It is. It fully is. You have to meet people. So, okay, that's all I'm gonna say. You go on negative Nancy and Debbie Downer and everybody else. Okay, is Dr. L a psychologist? No, he's not a psychologist. Nope, he's not. And what Garrett say? I gotta find a way to tell short men of stature their hopes and dreams are dashed because they were into women, but they weren't into the men. Y'all start paying attention to people who actually like you. Okay, that actually want to get to know you as well. Like you talking about women, like if you up in Halle Berry's inbox, well, get the hell out her inbox. She may not be interested. Like, I feel like sometimes men be chasing women that don't have
Can you
any
see the
interest.
contradiction of what you're saying? I'm
Nope.
trying to let this go, but you are exemplifying my exact contradiction. Yes, men, stay out of everybody's inbox. There's some people who are out of your league that just point blank. There's some women who are out of your league. Don't hit
I
them
didn't
up.
say that. I didn't say stay out. I didn't say I didn't say out of your
I'm
league.
saying,
They're not. If they're not interested in you at all, why are we pursuing them? If people are not interested in you at all, why are we even considering them as an option?
what do you? What type of? I really want to let this go. I really do.
Please
What
do,
type
because I
of
gotta
woman?
pee.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, ain't no go ahead. We gonna get
What type of woman?
ask your question so I can wrap this up and go on with my night.
What type? Yes, it does goes both ways. Seven sacraments of hell. What type of woman um is the woman that you are trying to attract has to be attracted to you. I don't disagree with that. But you're telling men,
Okay.
you're telling men out of 20 women, my example before, I said that their pool from attracting 2 women, if they boss up and this, then the other, depending on their looks and height and confidence and all that, can go between 6 and 7. You want to go up to 10. I'm not going to give you 10 because surveys say that the women are 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 turned off or at least not attracted to 80% of men. They're just invisible. They just don't see them for what variety of reasons. They're more selective. So if what type of the guy's going after a woman, his pool is expanded because he's been the best of himself. Now out of the 6 that I'll give him that he can attract, or that he can attract, that like him back equally, you're telling him to go after number 7 or 8 that's not attracted to him, and your advice is to go after that person. I'm asking this question: is your advice to go after that person 6 or 7, 6 or 8, because you have bossed up and because you have confidence and faith and a positive attitude? Is that what you're telling men to do?
When
Or
you
should they
say
stick
6
to
and
the 6 or
7,
7? The 6 or 7 that he is now bossed up and they're smiling at him, they're somehow showing interest in him. Should he go after, because now he's not attracted to those 6 or 7. Let's just say 6. He's not attracted to those 6. Should he go after one of the ones who he is not showing him interest, not smiling at him, or should he stick to the 6 that are interested in him?
why is he not interested in the 6s? I mean, because he thinks he's what, because he's better than them? I mean, like, why
Whatever
not
reason.
be?
Whatever reason, he is attracted to all 20. He's
Hmm.
attracted to all 20, but only 6 are giving him the eye when he walks through a movie theater. They smile when he's at the park.
Okay.
Should he go after those 6, or should he still go after one of the other, what's my math? What's the other 12 or so, 14 or so
14.
that don't show him? He should go after the 14, one of the 14.
I'm not saying go after. I see. Here's the thing: you're making it seem like I'm saying go chase these women. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you can attract. When you attract somebody, people come to you, right? So that's what attraction is. I don't go out and chase any man. I said you can attract any man.
And
So
he's
you're making it.
attracted to 6. He's
No,
attracted to
I didn't
6.
know. You're saying
I'm
he is
saying that.
a
I'm
track.
saying
No,
it.
no, listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
I am saying you are attracting. Somebody is attracted to you. You're saying he is attracted physically. He is attracted to these women.
I'm
I'm
saying
saying,
he's attracted to 20, but
okay,
only
but okay, we're using the words differently, and that's where it's getting messed up.
he's attracted to all 20. He is attracted. He sees these 20 women. They're all physically attracted to him for whatever his standards are. Only
Okay.
6 reciprocate. And I can see you struggling here. If you want to go to the
No,
bathroom,
I'm not, because
okay. No, I just don't know if you want to use the bathroom or not.
no, I'm not gonna pee on myself. Okay. No, I'm struggling because we're saying two different things, and I think that's
So
where the confusion is.
I'm asking, he's attracted. He sees these women. He's
I
attracted.
don't care if he's attracted to all 20.
Now 6 are, because remember before he was only attracting 2. He bossed up, went to college, got his,
And that now he's attracting
6.
10.
I can't give you 10 because
Okay, then he's
the survey
attracting
data says
6.
I'm not going to give you 10 because the survey data says that 80% of men are invisible to women. That's why I'm not going to give you 10. That's
Okay, boo, I'm gonna tell you when we have our pillow talk tonight. I'm gonna tell you this, okay? Because y'all don't know he's sitting in
That's
the
why I
next
want to
room
get off
over
the
here.
phone. That's why I want to get off, because I'm going to get yelled at. Go ahead.
Yes. I say I'm about to choke you, but he likes to be spanked, y'all. No, I'm playing. No, I'm gonna tell you, boo. We're saying two different things. We're saying, and that's the thing. I'm not telling that men to go after anybody. I'm not telling. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying go after people who aren't interested in you. What I'm saying is attraction is when we bring people into us. Now, I may have walked into a room before, low confidence, low energy, low vibration, and then maybe 2 people found me. I was attracting just 2 of them. Right. But now that I have bossed up, I've leveled up, I'm wearing clothes that fit my body type. Y'all, my hair, my nails, and my energy is just positive. Now I am 6, 10 men are gravitated towards my energy. I didn't say anything about I'm going after. Now I'm going to go after this man and this man because I can get him and him and him. No, I'm saying now additional men are now gravitating towards me because I am now at a level of my energy is up. I have bossed up. I'm looking good. I've lost 10, 15 pounds, y'all. My boobs are sitting up here. Okay. You see, look, they ain't even in the picture. See, y'all can't even tell. They down here. Okay. They sitting up. I got them perky. My stomach is flat. I'm looking good. I'm leveled up. And now I'm physically drawing people to me. You're saying that this man should go out. I'm not saying that. Y'all, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you're attracting. I could attract any. That's what I said. Like I could attract if I want to pull in somebody with my feminine energy and the way I feel and the way I think about myself. I feel like I can attract people towards me. You didn't hear me. I ain't never said anything about go chase somebody who don't want me. I ain't no damn Fido. I ain't no pit bull. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here chase anybody, but I can draw anybody into my space and my energy. That's what attraction is. You're using the word as I'm attracted. I find you attractive. So let me go approach you. I ain't approaching. First of all, I ain't approaching. I don't need to approach nobody. My energy is approaching, and I make myself approachable. I make myself approachable. I'm laughing, I'm smiling or whatever. I'm having conversations. I make sure I'm approachable. That allows men to that will allow a man to approach me. I think we're just saying two different things, okay? And then out of the women that he's attracting to him, now he has more to choose from. Yeah, see, Blondie, okay, Blondie, you see what I'm saying, girl? Like I think you and I are saying this different things, hun. We're saying different things.
We're definitely saying different things.
It's okay. I'll explain it to you tonight. Don't worry, okay?
Right.
Just
Don't
warm
yell
up
at
that
me
beard. No, I'm playing. No, I'm serious. We are saying two different things. Okay. I don't know what this means. You may have said that, but okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Look, the key is work on self. Everything starts with you. Everything, what you attract. And some women keep attracting the same type of men. Some women keep attracting, some men keep attracting the same type of women. And the reason why is because it's coming from you. It's coming from you, right? So once we work on self, then we can attract better. It's all energy. It's all science. It's been scientifically proven. I'm not saying anything that V just made up, right? This is all scientifically proven by many neurosurgeons, right? So you level up, you change your energy, you change your vibration. I fully believe you can attract anything to you. So that's it. I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to keep debating that because I can put study after study after study after study to prove me right. That's it. Okay. Anyways, on that note, y'all girl got to use the bathroom. We've been on here too. And I said I wasn't going to be on that long. See, Dr. L, I said I wasn't going to be on that long. On that note, Derek, boo-boo, you can agree with Dr. L. Both y'all. All y'all men can. But I promise you, if I taught you how to level up, if I taught you how to use your own, increase your energy and all this other stuff, your vibration, all the stuff that neuroscientists teach about what you attract, I promise you, you would attract better. That's all I'm saying.
I haven't read any of those study data. Neuroscience.
Oh, I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, send me that type of stuff.
I am gonna send it to you. I see. It's called, y'all look into Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a neuroscientist. Okay, look into these things. Look into these things.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, good night, y'all. Oh, yeah. V got it. Miles. Yes, boo boo. V got to pee. Okay. Good night, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And on that note, good night, boo. Good night, everyone.